anyone said. And Labelle's is going to be interesting because I mean, they're always popular. I don't know, like, what the feedback is on their.
It's Angel or and it's just the requirement. Do they save money on,
The only other person that.
Oh, yeah.
On some of the places we went to, because sometimes the city would go out there and do some review there, so it wasn't really expensive.
I mean, really, that's kind of the only thing I can think of is just get back to dig out their old applications.
Yeah.
And see, like, contact them, like, hey, how's it going?
It'd be fascinating, get you another round in the chamber of Walmart.
There's it's always like, I don't know, it's anecdotal evidence, I don't know if there's hard data about it, but that's what they always say. It's like, when you put up a mural, it's really, they think twice. They think thrice. And you'll rarely see, you can see some, like, rarely, and it sucks when they do. It gets so, everyone just gets so upset when that happens. It's like they tag it, but it's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, what it is just like a call for it. It's like everyone, in the community, like, would agree. It's like, you can just do that.
What's funny is
the lowest of the low.
I used to hang out on the street with graffiti artists.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that they would do is because a lot of times their tags is basically a graphical representation of their signature. And so it's something that they replicate all over the place. So if somebody ever saw a tag on a piece of art, they would just run that dude down.
Right.
Because it's like, no, go find a blanket.
I just don't see it. And that's why they put them on everything as much as they can.
Yeah. And also, it looks better than a giant beige gold wall. Usually with multicolored beige patches,
Yeah, especially nowadays. It's like, for so many people love to take a selfie in a mural or something like that. It's very
Years ago.
social media.
I just thought about it and I said, hey,
Very
when I have those pictures,
Unfortunately, so I entered the Noir Fair, just as a proof. It's funny because I'm actually a judge for photography and the art section. So I figured for the traditional art I would enter. And it was funny because I entered 4 pieces. One got in with Frankenstein.
Again, the Frankenstein,
It was funny because that one got in. It was the last year it was out because it can't be like more than 4 years old. It's the last year it was out, but also it had been rejected previously.
Yes, I remember that.
And so I thought it was funny that one got in. But I think it's because the other ones I entered were like HTML. Because, well, the fair theme this year was Once Upon a Fair. And so the idea was, I think they're trying to do a theme of fairy tales.
Yeah, like stories and stuff like that.
The problem is the description was basically books. And so because I went horror as opposed to fairy tales. So the description of the fairy tale was so vague. Just basically said between the pages. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah, that's why they have there's going to be some kind of library thing going on there. Their main display thing. Where they took up, I know they're working with the county library because the county is so yeah, I'm kind of curious to see like what this is going to look like. I mean, it'd be cool if it's cool if it looks, for sure. But, yeah.
What year was that?
Yeah, I remember you Frank's I got the mouse pad. I bought it at Comic. It's my current mouse pad.
What's funny is I sell that primarily to librarians and morticians. Who knew there was overlap in the Venn diagram of art? Who knew?
No, 2017.
I can't.
And
I have no.
I just thought it was fun.
I have no idea. That's so funny.
Like girls were more grown.
I should have brought it.
And then John McCann was the council person, Mary Sowers was the.
How are you?
And
I'm
then-
great, thank you.
Finally, it's a party.
Was that?
It's been a party with kids.
A lot.
Thank you.
Excuse us.
guys gonna be speaking?
That's what
No, we were,
they said
she was invited by peers in the school.
Oh, usually if anybody's gonna speak, they usually have to fill out a little form, their name and address.
No, we're not gonna speak, we're just here to listen.
So it's open to one.
Okay.
Well, for you,
You're gonna speak. for
I'm here all the time.
Just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I haven't missed one meeting.
That's when I was getting. It's been a while.
Yeah, I have an insanely good attendance record.
Can't promise that. Usually,
Considering how much I'm on the road,
it's tough.
why do you think I was so excited when we have meetings, on Wednesdays? Because literally any Wednesday I would never miss when you sent me a call on, or
You all voted for it.
well, that's why I
Oh,
voted.
Wednesday, it was originally Monday.
It used to be Mondays, which
Yeah, it used to be
days,
like.
so I was literally doing things like flying back to Japan or Sweden or something, and having to go straight from the airport to here,
Yeah.
and trying to do the
You
meeting.
still do it.
Okay.
So when we moved it to Wednesday, it's all like, sweet. It was Mondays.
Oh, actually, if you like, you can
I
have
can't
one
remember
of
Mondays
these
or
too.
Tuesdays, but it was horrible, because I was always just
I
flying.
think it was Mondays because I remember
So
going.
there's whole music program.
Or I would do like road trips or something.
It would be illegal, and then the resident came along.
Oh, Roberto Ponderama is very famous composer.
I was very happy.
His daughter's name was Tate.
Right, she became a famous, telenovela star. Yeah, I've heard of Roberto Ponderama.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Did you
Right
live
there in Children's.
What made your time?
Where is your famous?
And then also,
It's like cat reindeer.
Maybe that wasn't the javelin.
What's his name?
It was more like, I hadn't seen them. It's not that you haven't.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
well, I
Some
know,
bits.
basically, you're
Although
just.
they
I bet.
Let's give them a buck.
It's good, it's good. Work is good.
Originally,
Yeah,
I think
Make a contribution.
Well, I'm trying
When you
to
live in the
convince cities
Well, the
to
good news is
some facilities where it's not arts.
Hypothetically,
Yeah, it is
There's
usually
Zero.
it's got enough of a
constructed
Fix
by,
this, it's 20 minutes away, part of Southwest College.
the politics
From
system.
the west
Yeah,
side,
so if I retire, it's basically, you don't have to live there.
nothing, and they're
Yeah, it's
developing
cooking with it. Yeah,
Bayside.
good. It's either, it's a goal.
I'm excited about that.
Development from L Street South.
But
They're gonna
it's
build
also,
a soccer
there's
stadium.
I just, the view was nice.
Most important.
But it also gives all one of those things.
And I'm trying to ask them, I'm saying, we should have
It's
a
the outlet
plastic
is
performing arts center.
I just saw
Style.
Because we're right
I mean,
between
only
Tijuana
because
and
it's cheaper
San
than
Diego.
like,
And,
not
you know,
the diet,
trolley
right,
line.
like Disney, we were talking about that.
And then we have Pacific, we have a lot of like Filipino,
Disney,
Japanese,
that's all I thought. Disney, like, little bit.
because, what do you call it, Micronesian communities.
It's, whoa.
And this is an
Yeah.
incredible place to have cultural,
I'm
you know.
thankfully,
Well, the view is also.
So we should have a cultural center.
And it actually requires me to work like.
that major part of it is,
I have to go through that every day.
they can probably.
For
They
this,
can
yeah.
scale up with it. Things they work on.
It's not so deafening and like.
It's a little unnerving, yeah.
It's
It's a nice theater, it's a nice theater.
Maybe some
You know,
parts enjoy the guys.
well, let me just say, Escondido, they have the California Center
You
for
start
Arts.
hearing your own sound, and then in your ear, it's like,
They have
maybe one of the
over smaller theater, plus little convention center, plus the exterior.
hard to tell these days. I see floaties, I'm like, oh, that's classic, right? Like, I hear that, I'm like, oh, that's really explain.
They get 4.5 from the taxes. So it's like a 7 times investment for them. I mean, it's great. Plus, all the benefits of the community and educating, Okay, Escondido means hidden.
18 months.
So Escondido is, you know, east, it's north, it's hidden. No, it's not like Chula Vista, we're on the bay, we're on the main, you know, drive corridor. Yes, we do, we have this beautiful bay, we have, yeah, we have everything.
She wants to talk about training.
Sometimes national cities actually more advanced than other stuff.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's on the road.
Right,
It's
right.
just really funny because they,
They're gonna vote you.
the only people who can afford them are the opportunity, you know, massive software companies. That really don't have, it'll be hard to, so much faster than the route that Apple's taking.
This is yours.
Yeah.
Apple has decided
Because
to
I'm
build
like,
AI.
I thought Sears and Roebuck, I'm not sure if you remember.
Oh my God, so
And
now
they had
of
to cancel
course.
$700 you could go anywhere you could go.
I couldn't even send my house out, and they would build it.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Is
And
it
you
a
know,
pro
they
or
just
is
took
it?
Sears building
It's a pro.
out.
No, it's just
Children's Center.
for
And
the
do
average
research and
Airbnb.
development, and now they're trying to put
So instead of
a
doing.
road
That's a
progressive
good
bridge over this center, and that's gonna wipe out the little, it's not that little, they're like Valley Florial companies. I think it's like arch oriented.
So,
This center's gonna be wiped out.
I can see some.
No.
So,
Because
yeah.
the angle that
And
the
that's the reason why
is instead of
just trying to smoke.
the AI that everybody else is watching.
I always think like,
Maybe thousands. These are all those computers.
I mean, you are switching to the quad.
These team together and actually build.
Yes, I do, and I have been
so probably
championing this.
I don't know, so small
An
companies,
incredible amount
I don't know what they do, I mean, they're not related to any of them.
They don't have a legal liability.
They're just like, they just want to sort of fun and from project survey. She's called that breakfast. But she's really
Oh, yeah,
good.
there's a lot of
Three this guy,
They can't, so break in. It's very slight.
You can do it offline without being connected. More secure. So that's.
So he's, I mean, I don't know, it's,
So I think it was,
He's a hardware specialist.
One shell costs one.
So that's kind of
Now
why.
they,
Probably was
they wanted it that way, they wanted to have like a bedroom community, for people that had businesses that took one.
lead interesting. So Kate's on her way as of 6:02. I don't know if you,
You know, resort.
Are we okay?
they've got warm.
I mean, we are, yeah, unless you want to start, unless you want to wait for her.
Those guys.
Let's do the, let's at least wait like 5 minutes.
Well,
Because it's always weird to do a
waiting for-
handoff, which she's like,
I
I
should
should
do
do
that.
that. Yeah, as long as we're that much.
She wants to start on
We can
10.
start with that.
Yeah, it would be,
We would
it
start
would
with
also be funny
system
to
share.
dominate the meeting for the last.
Christine.
Yeah, Jeff gave me all these magazines, I wanna give one to everybody. He wants me to pass it out, so I said, okay.
Very good. People learn more about you and right up the ground.
Hopefully it refreshed your memory, yes. Sure. Thank you. There you go. I'm gonna give one to everybody, so. I guess we could technically start if the vice chair is here.
I already consulted with the vice chair who wants to wait till.
I'll get away at least till 6. So gives you 3 more minutes. Put this on, make your case. Fine, leave the phone, sorry.
This,
The one that I had ordered, I don't know if these or not, but it's the one that looks like that. There was no Macintosh.
he said he would be sending me.
Chips there?
Oh, yeah, it looks like a,
I took, I was like, it's, I took away.
Yeah, it looks like an
We actually
inspection.
have,
Where you're charging, that's what this is, essentially.
for
But,
application.
so that, by the way, that part you're seeing is actually functional. She's at carries, that's the
This is
here.
Oh,
It's literally a magnetic thing.
Yeah, 31 days.
You're right.
Because they were, they were not.
See, it would have been awkward.
Fully transitioned.
Budget.
Yeah, I
It was one of the, they never explained like.
No, the hormone therapy came out great.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chula Vista Cultural Arts Commission. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6:08. Please call the roll.
All right. Commissioner Brady.
Here.
I'm going alphabetical. Vice Chair Cozy.
Here.
Commissioner Moroka.
Here.
Commissioner Ruppolo.
Here.
Commissioner Sablan. Here. And Chair Bishop.
Here. Thank you. We move on to number 3, consent calendar. Are there any public comments on the consent calendar?
There are none.
Okay. Is there any objection to any part of the consent calendar? Does anyone want to pull part of it?
Does that include the approval of the minutes?
It does.
I'd like to mention that we've had a
Wait,
lot.
no. We
We're
don't
not
discuss,
saying
you don't discuss until you make the motion to approve, to pull the minutes, and then we will discuss. That's
Okay,
the
I'll
motion.
make a motion to pull the minutes.
Okay, so 3.1, okay. Anyone can pull the minutes, just, you don't need a second to, yeah, but thank you.
That was motion.
I appreciate it. Okay, so 3.1 is pulled, we can approve 3.2 separately, and then return to 3.1. So, is there a motion to approve 3.2, the request for an excused absence from Commissioner Sablan?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Commissioner Saban's absence.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner Kosi and seconded by Commissioner Brady.
All right, I'll take a vote. Commissioner Brady.
Aye.
Vice Chair Cozy.
Aye.
Commissioner Moroka.
Aye.
Commissioner Ruppolo.
Aye.
Commissioner Sablan.
Aye.
And Chair Bishop.
Aye. Okay.
Motion passes.
3.1, Commissioner Brady.
Well, what I was going to ask, it seems like we have a fluctuating attendance here. The last time, I don't think Commissioner Moroka or Sablan were here.
Commissioner Brady, I'm sorry to
And so,
interrupt right now.
What I
but-
would like to suggest is, I noticed that Robert records the meeting and then he translates that.
Commissioner Brady, this is inappropriate use of the pulling of 3.1. Do you have a note on the minutes from 3.1?
Okay, I don't think, the minutes do not include our motion to discuss possible performing arts venues.
There was a motion made at what point was there a motion made?
During the meeting.
Right, at what point in the meeting was there a motion made that you feel that it belongs in the meeting minutes?
I don't remember the exact time that it was made, but I do know that we asked that we have a discussion this meeting about possible venues for the performing arts, and it's not, I do not see anything to that effect here in these minutes. And what I was going to say was, I noticed that Robert records.
That's not an appropriate use of this time. You can talk about that during your comments, but this part is supposed to discuss the meeting minutes alone.
Okay,
If there
it's
was a
not
motion-
discussing what we made a motion to discuss performance.
Okay,
venues.
so unless you can point to the part of the meeting minutes that belongs,
Well, it's not there.
well, I'm saying, where did it happen?
Probably going to be commissioner comments.
So during commissioner comments. And there can't be a motion, an actual motion during commissioner's comments.
I'm not exactly sure that it was, I don't think it was during commissioner comments. I think
Okay,
was
because it does say in commissioner comments, it says Commissioner Brady commented on the study of performing arts centers in San Diego and their benefits and recommended the need for low-cost performing venues in Chula Vista.
Which I have done every single meeting,
Sure.
and I've asked that a motion be passed, and I understood that we were going to discuss it at this meeting.
Is there, okay, if there's questions about the meeting minutes, then we can pull the approval of the meeting minutes until the next meeting, during which we can review, if you can review the meeting minutes and the recording and point to where it would go, then you can include that in the next meeting minutes. So that's what we'll do, push this to the next meeting.
Sure, and in Commissioner comments section, there can always be a consensus to add it. And then there was, from the minutes from last time, there was no consensus to add it to this agenda. There can be one asked for, during this meeting, for Commissioner comments for the next one. And
Okay.
that will be important.
So was there a vote of, there was no consensus around adding the
No, actually it's 6.2.
6.2?
There was a consensus to add an item to a future
Oh.
agenda regarding a potential community.
That was the question.
So
Well, that's an
the-
event.
that was the
That's
That's the event.
Okay, sorry. I
Okay,
mean, facility, my bad.
right. Okay, so during commissioner comments, you can make a motion to potentially add to a future agenda. If there was no consensus and
I
staff.
understood that we did that already.
Okay, so we need to review the minutes from last time, and at the next meeting, we can bring these back for approval at that time. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on then. The 3.1 is pushed to the next agenda. With that note, we will review that. Okay, moving on. Number 4, public comments. The public may address the commission on any subject matter within the commission's jurisdiction that is not listed as an item on the agenda. State law generally prohibits the committee from discussing or taking action on any issue not included on the agenda. The committee may schedule the topic for future discussion or refer the matter to staff. Are there any public comments?
Yes, we have 2 speakers.
Okay.
First speaker is Robert.
Okay.
And Robert and I go to the time.
I don't know where you want me, I can stand right here.
That's fine.
We filled the whole
We
table.
can all see, yeah.
So, hello, Cultural Arts Commission, commissioners, staff. You know, it's important that we have these meetings, so I appreciate everybody showing up to have the meeting. Recently, they had a presentation at the city council meeting yesterday that was from Ann Moore. And so what I did was I suggested to them that they bring that presentation, her specifically, because she represents Chula Vista, so that way we can get more engagement on what we do actually control under Chula Vista's purview. And so hopefully they'll take that into consideration and bring that to you with more information, maybe even a way for suggestions. I know they've been working on the public outreach portion to it. They're still not at like the final signed contract. It's just like this holding pattern. And then on top of that, we went to the budget meetings. And then in the budget meetings, I tried to voice my concerns that it went from $100,000 to $30,000 investment into the community for the arts, and that we want to see that reflected within the budget if we're going to take such a reduction in investment. We want to see that come from somewhere else then to equal out some of that inequality from the different library, right? The different things that are getting invested in. So, you know, I'm here to just tell you guys I'm trying to do my part in supporting you guys in other meetings and then relay that message to you so we can all be on the same page. And however I can help you guys further your events, you know, it's kind of crazy. And Zuzu wanted to pause all events, and I was like, what the heck are you doing right now? But anyways, whole nother conversation. Pay attention to the city council meetings, because just like I said, one swoop of their vote causes, the art event causes, so, you know, we want to be careful, especially with people doing that grandstanding on the dais. So I don't know what else to try to make you aware of. I've talked about the meeting minutes and things like that. Things look to be more structured and orderly for people to keep up and go from meeting to meeting and not get confused. So I do appreciate all that. There are some new things with the city council where you're going to be able to join in virtually coming up July 1st after that point. So I don't know what changes they're going to be making to the boards and commissions, but that's something I'm looking into because I want to see the participation here get elevated when we elevate the city's participation. So it all rises, you know, rising tides rises all ships, right? So anyways, I appreciate my time and I'll be speaking later.
Okay, thank you, Robert.
Our next speaker is Alan Gore.
First of all, I have to comment, each and every one of you are very, very, very important to not only the students, but also the artists, because of the fact that this way they have the opportunity to display, show their work, and this is very, very important. You know, the reason why I'm here is because of the fact that years ago, well, I think it was around 1970 something, when they built the courthouse. I helped put the materials in the inside of that with Judge Haley. And I would like to see if there's a possibility, with your help, to be able to make it so we could have artists, to be able to put some artwork that would actually be on display there. Now, to me, the most important thing is not just the artist. It's the individual students that are in each one of those particular organizations, our schools. If they have the opportunity to be able to participate with your help, to be able to make it so they can have that artwork on display, guess what happens? They feel like, wow, I've done something for the community. Two, the other factor, it comes back to you because of the fact that you're showing, helping each one of those students, giving them the opportunity to be able to do that. So it's been many years that I haven't been here. I started dyeing my hair gray because of the fact that I hadn't been here. But the key element to me is I wanted to find out what was going on now in the city to be able to help out. Because I went with Mayor Cox, Mary Salas, and I've basically done and worked with many of the mayors. But you, and 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 you are very important for the community. Because of the fact that when they go to Los Angeles, they say, oh yes, this is this and that, whatever it is. But you have the opportunity to be able to plant that seed. And by planting that seed, it will grow. But you have to plant the seed first. And if you have it so that you can do that with the students, can you imagine what's going to happen in the future? You're going to be like, older like me, and you say, hey, I remember when this was, and now it is. Well, because a long time ago, when they had the power plant and all that stuff, they said, hey, what we're going to do is set up a hotel. And this is years ago when they were thinking about that. And sure, what do you see now? No, I'm not sure because of the fact I haven't been into the hotel yet. As their locations within the hotel are on that surrounding area.
I'm so sorry, your time is up, sir.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I appreciate your help, and I 100%. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Are there any further comments?
Not under public comments.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to number 5, action items. Action items are considered individually by the commission and are expected to elicit discussion and deliberation. 5.1, discuss the 2026 Chula Vista Art Fest. Recommended action, discuss, provide feedback, and take action as appropriate.
And just to let you know, we do have a speaker for this item.
Okay. So presentation, then speaker, then discussion.
So Art Fest planning is underway. It's once again September 26th. It's that Saturday in the middle of the fall break. Across the street over at City Hall, we are looking to make it even more engaging this year. And one of those things that, and I know that a few of you will be hopefully happy about, is that I am going to incorporate some kind of performing or some kind of dance performances during Art Fest. I need your help in this because I don't, I'm not sure how it's going to look like, and this is where I need the commissioners, especially those of you who are about dance and who specialize in it. Yeah, almost. But so I think what is a little bit tricky for me is that for those of you who've been to Art Fest, there's on the main stage, well, there's only one stage, so it is the stage. There is bands throughout. There's a DJ bands, DJ bands throughout the 6 hours of the event. How to incorporate the dance performances without it being too, I guess, not disruptive, but just, I guess, disruptive to the flow. My plan is to put the dance floor on the lawn. And that'll serve two purposes. Number one, for the dance performances. Number two, so that people can dance. The problem we were having was that people were dancing to the music on the grass, and the grass is really thick. And I was a little worried for everyone's ankles and kind of injuries, so I asked our event coordinator, our event company, about the dance floor. They're like, yeah, that's easy. We'll just put it out there. It's not that expensive. We was like, how big do you want it? Like, I guess 40 feet, right? Or,
Very big.
Yeah, big, right? It's at least as big as the stage. So that we can dance, but then we can also have the performances there, and people can enjoy it. We can have the chairs around on the lawn. So my dilemma again is within the 6 hours, how would that look? And how would what would you like to see? So I leave it to the dance people to kind of give me input, your recommendations. How would you want to do this? Not only that, do you have people who would do this?
Okay,
What's it gonna look like?
Wait, before that, public comment, then discussion from the commissioners. So public comments first. Yeah.
That's what you want to do.
Unless you have more presentation.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I-
great. So
I-
public
that's-
comments, then
that's what we-
discussion from the commissioners.
All right.
So we don't have any motions.
We do have one speaker, Robert.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Appreciate it.
Gotta find the mouse again. All right.
I appreciate the time to speak. It varies. Sometimes it's good to hear your guys' opinions before I talk, because you guys will get a second chance to deliberate after public comment, so that's up in the air. But I do appreciate the sentiment from it. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking at the last meeting. Is it correct to say April 1st would be our last meeting? And I'm trying to go through the action items to see any information that's being released about this event, whether it's planning purposes or ideas that are actually being documented, displayed to if it's a layout of the event space, if it's ideas that the city is generating, right? This may not be you guys directly, but the city has a plan, and I have yet to see the plan. I hear about the plan, right? I hear the ideas today about moving it to the grass, and I just encourage you guys to look at it from that perspective. That when I'm looking at the agenda, I'm looking for these documents to see what the public can then catch up on, if you will, right? And so if we go to today's agenda, there's no paperwork with it, even though there's a plan to move it to the grass and these great ideas, which, I'm all for the city's planning that idea. But to move the city forward, we need to see these documents to then help you guys get prepared for the meeting, right? And so I encourage you guys to ask for any documentations about this that would further help you come up with great ideas. Like he was saying, to help them provide an area of the dance floor or the idea to it. And I really like the sentiment of the city asking that. But I think to jumpstart the meetings and to give the commissioners the best scope of the work, we need to give them a plan. And the plan can change, right? We deal with the budget comes out, the budget changes, then we adapt and overcome, right? And so I just encourage that the documentation be more provided on the city's end when we're planning these meetings, so that way I think you guys can then better prepare for what these questions or presentations may be. So, my other thing is with the art event is I don't want to see it get canceled. I don't want to see it lose funding. I want to see these events fulfilled and have experiences for locals and residents and visitors. So, let's do it. But like I said, I just want to give you guys the best toolbox to do that in. And so my suggestions aren't always for commissioners. It's a public comment. But I'm here to help everybody, and that's staff included. So if you guys have great ideas like that, please encourage staff how they can help you better.
Okay, thank you, Robert. All right, so now we can move on to discussion. Commissioner Brady.
I know of two ballet folklorical companies, T-Pie, and then there's another one called Wakushma. Now, I know T-Pie, they usually have 17 couples, which is pretty big, for dancing. And
They fit.
to fit on the dance floor, yeah, that's why you need
Yeah,
space.
it's a lot.
I,
Okay.
I would recommend like 1.5 times the size of this room even. Or maybe the size of this room.
That's
Well,
about
but I think what I could do is ask them, the tea pie people, they like to get paid $500.
Okay.
The Wakushima, I don't know them very well, so they have 90 dancers. They
I don't know that they're gonna fit on a
No,
40 by 40.
I know. I don't know how many, that.
Pyramids.
They just went, I saw on the internet that they just went to the state of Michoacan. They actually perform in different cities around the United States. And they're sending some adults to Colombia, I think. But there's no place for them to perform in Chula Vista. So this would be an opportunity for them to perform. I can also put out a request for people to fill out like a Google questionnaire saying if they would like to participate. I know that there's this Mariah Performing Arts Center.
Yes, I'm very.
And Nishi's
Nisha's
dance.
Yes, they wanted to perform the very first Art Fest, but we have the Create Chula Vista Award ones going up.
Well, usually a dance program won't be longer than half an hour. So,
Half an hour, you said?
yeah.
What, you're talking about
Each
one
group,
person?
each group
would be a half
will
an
not
hour?
dance longer than half an hour. If you're like an individual, it's
Okay.
actually harder to dance more than 3 minutes.
Okay.
Sure.
But they'll have different dances, their particular group. It should be like a half hour, then you can have music, then you have another half an hour, then music, then another dance. And I wouldn't have just dance, personally.
Sure. I would also like to put forward the idea of trying to also focus on educational dancers. So contact CVESD and Sweetwater, because there are dance groups at many of our schools.
Schools, okay.
And they're usually free,
Yes.
and students bring in families to watch them perform. So
Yes.
that is a draw
And I know
for
this.
people.
I know
Yes.
this.
Yes. So that would be my recommendation, Commissioner Percy.
How long is the program? Like how long is it? It
Well,
starts at what time?
it starts at noon, ends at 6, and it's just those 6 hours are, and what I've done in the past is just really just band, DJ, all the way through.
Well, now I think you can do every hour, you can have a dance production and then you have another half hour somebody else.
Alternate.
So you can have 6 groups at least.
You said 30 minutes, is that sort of like a?
Well, I mean, I think 30 minutes is referring to a professional length performance.
Yeah, maybe it's 20 minutes.
That's probably for kids, it's probably less so.
Yeah, it's quite long, 30 minutes is a lot.
It's long.
Yeah.
So typically it's 15 minutes. But
I
I was
see.
gonna offer just because of the makeup of the Chula Vista cultural side of the house, there's access to a lot of Polynesian groups that
Yes.
are doing this, and I have access to all of them. So if you need, and then that could be also educational, about what those movements mean, the story that comes with that, and they don't need a lot, they just need to plug into a phone, the DJ can probably play it, and they can get the grass like they naturally do. So, but yeah, that's one, the question is like, what is the budget we're kind of working with? Because some of those people will probably not be free, but we could start off by asking, hey, can you donate time, even if it's a watered down.
We've had anywhere, so last year it was anywhere from like per act, the range was 500 to 2,000. Depending on like the big band, the one who did, they were doing like 80s hits or something like that, big band, that was 2,000 because it was like almost.
Main stage kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we had the smaller ones, like the ones who just like the ukulele or whatever, had a piece, with 5 minutes.
So, I mean, I would say that, the reason why it's actually good is they're already gonna be here for PIFA. PIFA is the week before.
It's the week before,
Right, it's the weekend before, so it's good to ask them now so they can start to, then they don't have to be able to pay for that travel piece, they're just making it off. Yeah, 22nd, 23rd is PIFA this year.
So then, after this meeting, Commissioner Brady, I want to reach out to you, give me your options for your contacts, and then the Commissioner Sutherland as well.
Okay, I don't have the information right here, I'll have to go home. and
No,
send it.
after this, we
Okay.
can, we'll do emails.
Right, okay.
Okay?
I also want to recommend, just because what Felix was talking about, is because of the makeup of our local community and stuff and the history here, also reaching out to maybe the native tribes. Seeing if the Kumeyaay
Yeah.
have a
Awesome.
local troop or something they would like to do outside.
I know who to contact.
Hey,
A former commissioner, yeah.
Nice. It's great.
love it, thank you for that.
Assuming former commissioners as well.
So are we just hitting on the dance, the arts, or are we looking at it
We're looking at
collectively?
the whole thing, we were just,
Oh,
that was
the
just
whole thing,
issue number one.
How do
Right
we
now-
fill the dance floor?
Right now, it's the performing arts side. The visual arts, I have that covered. That's kind of like the standard. The performing arts, I want to mix it up a little bit this time, not just not just band. I mean, people love the bands and they love the music, but and I know for this commission, Commissioner Brady and Commissioner Bishop, you wanted this for our fest, and so as our response to that, we are yes, we would like to add more dance.
And
What is the date of the art fest?
September 26th, Saturday.
I would like to add a little wrinkle. I think it'd be kind of cool if we had a poetry reading as part of the performance art.
We should get our poet laureate out there.
We do not have an official poet laureate.
Yeah,
we should.
However, but if,
But that's
it
the
wouldn't
drop.
necessarily,
It's like, what happened?
Hang on.
it wouldn't necessarily be like main stage sort of thing, but maybe have a little side corner where people can like read a lot, like read poetry or do a little mini poetry slam kind of thing. It doesn't have to be one person.
You know, last weekend there was a poetry slam here, did a CD poetry slam by one of the PBAG recipients, and so we have to reach out to them because they also applied for this year. So okay, thank you.
So that would be, I think that would be a nice.
So I would still like to be able to possibly add a culinary, maybe not as big as the original idea, which I'm still working. I mean, I'm still, I have to wait, right, until we open up in Millennium, is that correct? But I mean, we can have something on a smaller scale, maybe like a junior culinary competition where maybe certain age groups all the way through high school, something as simple as cookie decorating, and maybe have some, like a cake competition, but with dummy cakes, so it's just the
Showcase kind of thing?
yeah, it's not, and then they can keep different age groups again. We could still get some local chefs to come and be the special judges. Maybe even get some of the local chefs to do a food presentation, not so much a competition this time around with a big culinary competition yet, but something like that to start implementing the culinary aspect of.
Like a local restaurant showcase kind of thing, where they just bring some like
Little samples.
little type of.
No, I think
Or
there's a lot of different chefs who specialize in different things. Maybe one can do a knife skill presentation, maybe
I see.
somebody else can do like a gastronomy, maybe somebody else can do like a fish cutting technique, filleting things.
So like an educational.
Kind of, yes, so it's more educational, I don't know, maybe a quick, here's how to make mushroom ice cream. And I say that because I went to a I went to a mushroom festival, and they had mushroom ice cream, and it was actually very good.
Was it?
It was, I know it sounds awful, but it was good.
I like my ice cream very
It was the same kind, there was a whole table.
There's a different kind of arts to that.
My front yard.
Oh, you're right. But may I suggest, I mean, there's a lot of good energy, and I think maybe maybe subcommittees to just kind of.
There is a subcommittee already, and I will be summoning at some point. I think we got one.
Did we do one?
I thought we did.
We do, but I have to be replaced by him.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
what?
so we have to
He's turning out.
I turned out, this is my last meeting.
I'm sorry, what?
Want to speak
How did
on
that
one of the
happen? I
next
thought
two
we did it
items?
tonight.
No,
This is
I
the
came in a
agenda.
few months before you, and it just so
And they're
happened
gonna
that I
talk
came in.
here, and then you have to fill this little form out, okay? So if you want to make a statement, because you got here.
Oh, so like
a little
I'm
late.
through next year,
Yeah.
but, oh.
Anyway.
Okay, so from us, wait, that sense.
That's sad.
That's
I was having fun.
But I do think that if there is, we should probably start kind of
Yeah.
Putting some of these in.
No, ASAP, because we have 5 months to go, and
Right.
it's just like,
Yeah.
really
So,
beginning of July is when we really step on the gas on.
I do want to bring up also potential of having the city look into potential local businesses or corporate sponsorships to try and help with the funding shortfall, the difference between last year and this year. Because it doesn't hurt to put a big logo up.
We
How
already
would we do that? How
we
would
do
we
have
do
2
that?
sponsors already. 7 Mile is always a sponsor. Projects to Print on 3rd Avenue, they're a sponsor. And rest assured, we are looking for other sponsors.
Awesome.
We're
Did you
just
ask-
waiting on word.
Did you ask them to donate double what they donated last year? The casino?
They
Because
it's
you can
a
say,
it's
we
not in my
have,
hands. It's a
60% less, so it can help us make up the difference.
But so the other note I had was also the tents. So I don't remember if tents were provided last year. Because I was, yeah, so the year before they were provided, but there wasn't it wasn't clear in the notes that they were provided. And obviously I was stumped on one of last year's, so I don't remember exactly how it's worded and stuff. But I know we provided tents and equipment and stuff as well. But I just want to make sure that tents provided is clearly stated so that you'll actually get more people to apply if they aren't sitting there going, "This, do I have to bring a tent?" So.
Or last thing I think from last year is we need more food vendors. I mean there were 3 vendors or 4 vendors, and it was like.
That's what I was saying, like
people said-
Sprouts, the local Sprouts market, the
I had
franchise,
6
they
sponsors
sponsor a lot
last
of
year.
stuff.
Yeah.
One of them ran out of food like almost immediately. They did not prepare for the crowd.
But I also think that it's just not the food, it's also preparing places where people can sit down and relax.
Yes.
Because it made it easy
There's
for
like
people
some
to just walk
barrels
in,
you
people
can
to
sit
walk away.
right.
So we want them kind of hanging out.
It would be
Also,
cool.
it's
So,
go ahead.
well, I was gonna say in relation to what he's saying, so, but it was essentially structured so that you have, like almost how they do it for Art Walk in Gaslamp, or Little Italy, is they'll basically have the tents, and then in some of the eating areas, the middle area between the tents is actually where they have the seats for people to sit down.
It's actually good for them to be in front of the stage, so that it looks like there's a shit ton of people just watching what they're eating.
Well, just wherever it makes it so that they're actually not isolated from the rest of the event. So whether it's between the artists' tents or in front of the stage, some way that they're actually, not just, well, we're gonna stick you around this left-hand corner off to the side by the firehouse.
So is part of the challenge because we are using food trucks rather than food tents?
We didn't use food trucks last year because that's how I got the 6. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could almost fit 8 actually.
Trucks.
I made a U of food vendors, and they got really popular very quickly. One of them, like I said, ran out of food like within hours. I'm like, oh, you did not.
I think there was not enough food options, like actual,
There was
Variety.
there was
Variety,
more, there was like an ice cream and
Desserts.
coffee and dessert, and I think it was just actually.
More
linked
entree
to
options.
Food, right?
Yeah,
Right.
and that was it.
And
Yeah,
then what
I don't know why they ran out of
Yeah.
Maybe
Exactly.
meal ones and the rest were snacks. Yeah.
And they were tacos.
Yeah.
I will always go for a taco.
Yeah.
I was like the cane juice place though. I got
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
Sorry, it was really good.
It's delicious, totally delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
But yeah,
that
more
variety.
entree options for sure,
Everyone-
especially since one of the ones that ran out was one of the entrees.
Yeah, it was
So it's like,
Everyone that really got some feedback, they're like, yeah, that was, we went someplace else to eat.
oh dear.
Yeah. Never underestimate food. That's the lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's, any event is food and drink.
Okay. All right.
And I also just really one last, I know that the hat decorating thing was really popular last year. I was thinking maybe this year we could do like a cookie decorating table, and kids can just come and, icing and make their own little cookies.
Would you need funding from the city for that?
Yeah, the materials, yeah.
Somebody can donate cookies as well, just share
I
cookies.
actually have to look into risk stuff for that. Because it is food, it's not a food event.
It has
So we
peanuts
have
or
to-
something.
yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No sugar cookies. do not have peanuts. It would be sugar cookies in a circle shape, square, and then they just decorate
So-
with buttercream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Just to be clear, this is, and then, okay, I mean, this is a brainstorming of ideas. These are, again, recommendations from everybody. It may be included, it may not be included. There are things that obviously that I'm leaning more towards, like, you know, what, with dance, with the focus on dance this year and performances. The other ideas, you know, we will definitely take them into serious consideration. We'll discuss them to see how viable they are and how we can make it happen. And if nothing else, these are good ideas for future art fests. I mean, you know, congrats to us. It is considered a signature event for the city, so it looks like it's going to be an annual event. It'll be happening every year.
Very exciting.
Hopefully bigger and better, you know, different locations and places that are underrepresented. You know, obviously we're looking at Millennium for next year, so yeah, just, but I appreciate it. I don't know if I have any more ideas, but.
I'm actually really excited about the educational aspect of the thing, like the demonstration thing. I think if we can have a food demonstration tent that we can like rotate different chefs through to do different things, I think it would keep it from having to like give food to people, just like do some sort of like, this is how, and within that, there is a possibility of like, this is how you do cake decorating, this is how you do nice, all that stuff. I want to see one of those people that cuts fruit. You know the like decorative fruit stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so cool. I would love to sit and just watch something.
I can arrange that.
But what I like about that too is then it is part of the narrative of our city, having a vibrant push of like great places to eat.
Yeah.
Like, good places, good, so it's a nice narrative to say, okay, well, here are 15 chefs that are rotating throughout the day that are from our community, that are actually, they just popped up, and there was a couple that kind of folded, but this is one way to kind of keep that sector alive. So I think
it's a great
we probably
idea.
get some sponsors for sure.
And I do love that it does feel transitional into future cuisine aspects. Just, I don't know, I'm excited about that idea, and I would love to see just having a tent where we just did the demonstrations. And with that, we wouldn't necessarily, I'm assuming, wouldn't necessarily have to have the insurance liability stuff if it was like giving away food. If it's just demonstrating things, it wouldn't have that aspect. Am I correct on that?
There's always gonna be some sort of liability.
Well, yeah. There's a guy standing in a tent with a knife, but like less so than he's also handing stuff out to people to eat, you know what I mean, like that.
The city should have insurance like all the parks for recreation, if somebody breaks their leg in a park. You know, they should have lots of insurance.
We have insurance already for the event, for the exhibits, the vendors, and all of that. Those are all, you know, already taken care of. But the food aspect of it is different, and so that's something we have to explore. Like I said, we will take it into serious consideration of how you know, if it's possible and what it would involve. That would be a conversation with the attorneys, our risk people, the event management company who handles things like that and probably have experience with it. So we'll definitely take that into, we'll consult with them.
I'm happy to decorate a cake for everybody.
That'd be super fun.
I can.
Live demonstration tent, like a culinary live demonstration tent would be fun. Anyway, I just thank you for bringing that idea. I really like it. Are there any other comments, concerns, thoughts about ArtFest? What is our current subcommittee for that?
I will have to check.
Okay. Because like, we should probably be meeting.
I actually thought it was you, myself, and
There's
I
a
was us
PBAG
three.
one. Yeah.
Right, I know I'm on PBAG.
I'm on that too.
Okay, so that's you and me.
PBAG.
The Performing and Visual Arts Grants, that's the grant committee.
So,
Giving $30,000 away this year to artists who apply.
Yeah.
Is that already closed? The application is closed?
No,
yeah, close down.
we have applications now.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll update everybody.
Yeah.
At the
It's the
next-
next, yeah.
The one thing, if you would like to, you can vote for an updated subcommittee or.
Right, so the question though becomes, what is the number? If we lose a commissioner and we only have 5 of us, isn't 3 suddenly a,
Three, yeah, well,
Yeah.
considering, the current You would have to be 3 at your maximum because you have to kind of go with the existing 3.
Right, but isn't 3 a majority
Oh.
at that point, is
No,
what I'm
it's
saying?
50%.
What?
50%.
Right, 3 out of 5 is 60%.
Well, we have 6.
We're
Nope.
losing
He's going.
Commissioner Kosi.
That's
That's what I'm
where
saying.
now-
this is my
That's what
last
I'm trying to
meeting.
say.
And I don't know when they will be adding
Additional
commissioners.
members.
Is there a hold
So-
on commissioner appointments? 'Cause-
Yeah, because I had 3 that applied.
It's, right now in the hands, it's really the mayor's office, they make those decisions.
It's only
And
the
we-
mayor, or
and
it's
for
not?
your email, I did forward it on
Right.
to the clerks
I
said
did.
they will remind them, so I don't know.
Council people don't make decisions or recommendations?
Different commissions have different things, so like the mayor does ours.
If they still have that rule in place where like we're gonna use with Commissioner Maynard, if there's a need, the commissioner can be extended, I'm totally game for that too.
Well, supposedly it's 4 years, and I understand, well, Kate said she's been here for 6 years.
No, it's 4 years per term.
Oh.
So that's why I'm confused, I thought you were in
But
2020.
you can still do a subcommittee until the
Right, but I'm just confused, because you came in 2020 like me.
2019.
Oh, you were in 2019. I thought I was 2020 then.
Yeah, I came in a few months before you.
I see.
Again, I was at the end of the fiscal year and you turned out at the beginning of the fiscal year. So I basically lost a year.
Got it, okay. But I thought that would make you 27.
I thought so.
Oh, interesting, okay. So I have another year though, right?
You have another term.
Okay. Anyway, we're sorry to lose you. Had I known that this was your last time, I would have, I don't know.
But all that said, you can still have a subcommittee until Commissioner Posey turns out at the end of this week, so you still have good 2 months.
So it's
Okay.
4-year terms and.
So is this only your last one because June 30th is the end of the fiscal year, right? So wouldn't it be next meeting, or are you just not here next meeting?
No, they canceled next meeting.
Oh, that's right. Right.
Now,
Got it. That's fair. Okay, so but you can still serve on the subcommittee until we have our
Can I?
next.
I am not sure, actually.
Okay. I figured he's here, let him ask me.
Well, wouldn't June 30th be his term?
Yeah,
end of term?
I don't see, like,
Yeah, between now and then, I can serve on the subcommittee.
Right, so if we meet at that time, so maybe we serve on the subcommittee and then in the July, we put on the July agenda to get a new,
You came in 19, so it's 7 years.
But 3 is still
Up
your
to now.
maximum.
Well, no, I came
right,
in
what
November.
I'm saying is in July,
Yes,
we
Fiscal
would-
year
yeah.
is in
I still,
July.
so are there 5 of
So I
us
end at
after
the end
that?
of the fiscal year, so I actually lost
So then 3 is actually,
6, 8 months.
Right.
so more than we can do.
And then it would have to be, subcommittee would then would have to be.
2. So, okay, so we're not adding a new person because we're not,
Well, I don't
Can
know.
Commissioner Cozy just be a consultant
Volunteer.
to your, the subcommittee? I mean, just,
sadly.
because he's not gonna vote anyways after that
Shadow.
point.
Yeah, it's a separate outside discussion.
But that's also why I was saying, I know that there was a rule that they were trying to revoke at one point that would allow a commissioner to stay on.
Well, you could
Until
stay
they're
on for another
replaced.
4 years, but then you can quit after 1 year if you want to.
There's term limits though.
Yeah,
Oh, two
there's
terms?
term limits, I'm at the end of mine, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm asking.
You started at 220.
But if there's needs, like the Marine Corps had the same thing, when I was in the Marines, is Master Gunnery Sergeants were the only grade that because it is a skill-based rank, that even if they hit mandatory retirement, if the Marine Corps decides they don't have anybody to replace them, they'll hang on to them for dear life. There are guys who have been in for, 20, 30 years who are Master Gunnery Sergeants, but it's the only rank they let do that, simply because it's a skill-based.
Okay, so
I'm
we're
hoping
gonna
there's
put a
still
note,
something with the city.
we're gonna put a note with the city and see if that is a thing, if we may.
If it is, let me know, I'll
Yeah,
show up in 2 months.
He is, Commissioner Kosi is ready and willing to serve if needed. Okay, thank you for that, Commissioner Kosi.
What's the time frame that you have to be away from the commission to rejoin the commission?
That is another question that would be for the city, so, right? Is it a term
I,
or 2 years?
Sorry, what was the question?
how long
How long you have
they
to
would
wait?
have to be away in order to come back and serve again. So that is, the questions are we able to extend if we don't have somebody to replace, especially if the mayor's office is not putting in people that have applied? Because like if we only have our quorum, like literally anyone missing a meeting means we don't have quorum.
Right.
So that's not, it's not a functional committee.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
you
and
guys
more-
could look into that later, because we don't have the answers now.
Right, but this is me sending it to the city office to answer those two questions. So the questions are, can we, for Mead, extend his term until we are able to replace him? And the next question is, what was the second part?
How long the gap?
How long of a gap would he have to be gone in order to serve again? And then I believe we already answered the question of, our subcommittee has to be made up of 2 rather than 3 after you leave, because that would make it a 60% majority, so we can't do that.
Well, if he's on the
That part, no.
subcommittee, then that makes it the same.
Yeah, it just means when I leave. I
Right.
leave.
Right, but I'm just saying we can't replace him on the subcommittee.
It
It'll
seems kind of
just be-
unfair that they put a freeze on putting
Well, that's why I'm-
commissioners on, and then at the same time.
Well, that's also why I'm suggesting
Yeah,
this,
right.
like if this rule exists and it's within the purview, just extend me at least until they open up commissioners.
Yeah,
Right.
slots.
that makes sense.
Cool, so that has been referred to the city, thank you so much. So we have our recommendations for Art Fest. Is there any further
Is there gonna be an
discussion?
art gallery this year, like the actual, we had that big
The walls and
art
stuff?
gallery thing?
We are going to be using the city hall lobby again, and we are working on. You never remember this? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear this.
We'll be working on what we're going to be putting in the
Okay.
lobby
Okay.
as part of our.
Is that the mayor's office side of it?
It's the lobby to
The
going
main lobby.
into.
It's really nice.
So is
No,
that,
yeah,
so like based on what we were showing last time was our True Vista, it's like our PBAG stuff, right? Or no, it was True,
The last
Creative-
year-
It was an artist, Joelle Cook.
Oh, okay, but we're not doing like
The
the
community
student,
art.
community
Community
art
art there.
thing?
No, we're not doing that. We are going to highlight something else.
Okay, all right, thank you for that answer. Any further discussion? Okay, great. Moving on to 5.2, discuss potential community arts event at the South Chula Vista Library. Recommended action, discuss, provide feedback, and take action as appropriate.
Do you have any recommendations from the city for that?
Hold on, he's presenting.
No.
I added this on as this was a Commissioner or Vice Chair Closely got consensus to talk about it for this one. That's why it was added on.
The legal term is butt up hands.
What'd you say?
He
To
requested.
basically use the Southern Branch Library to actually hold because the space isn't adequate to hold the Art Fest that we're trying to hold, the really big one, but to hold a smaller one so that at least the west side and west southwest side actually gets some sort of representation to actually use that library there to hold a smaller event. So maybe it's not quite as obviously big as the one.
Did you look into it? Did you talk
Well, no,
about that?
I put it on the agenda.
so we can discuss it,
So we
so
can
we
talk
can
about it
refer
now.
it to staff, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
can.
Yeah, this is the
This is
first
the
time
moment.
it's being brought up as an official item to actually try and hold a mini art fest.
Like a spring arts fest?
My personal goal was always to have Art Fest itself actually be in summer, just because Arts Fest itself, actually, the primary one would be in April or something, so just to try and get all the art stuff to coincide. So whether we bump all the city art stuff to Art Fest, or we, just move Art Fest to April when all the other art stuff happens. Either one works, but, you have basically a spring and fall event type thing. And so you end up having an event at the library that is opposite of the main Art Fest, with the idea that it's more local representation, and then also hopefully, people who may not be able to make it all the way out to these things, transportation and stuff like that. Because honestly, it's really a pain in the butt to get to these things sometimes. I think that having something on the west side would be important. And I know Commissioner Brady's very passionate about that as well, having that local region represented somehow. So I think that having something in that area would be beneficial.
Well, I was gonna apply for a grant, there's these grants available right now. Our discount is $50,000. And I had a small little festival on the parking lot area of the grocery outlet, which, you know, had a lot of resistance and fear and all this sort of stuff, but it ended up being wonderful and everybody loved it and all those businesses are on board. And so I was gonna try to put together bands and food. But it would be more like a private thing, but we could have the city support it. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be under the it wouldn't be the whole, only the city in charge, or the city could be a support. Like in Tijuana, I know like when you're gonna do something, they ask for help or support or seal of approval from the city or the Department of Culture. Well, this is a tradition in Mexico and actually throughout Latin America. It's called kermés. It was originally that meant church mass. And it's a way to raise money for social institutions, and it's usually a sale of food. There's always food booths, and then there's always some kind of big dance presentation. So the primary thing is dance and food. And that's called a kermés. And everybody, I think, in Latin America knows about kermeses. And so it would be cool to have a chulovistic kermés.
That would be good. Just to keep in mind, really fast, you mentioned grants. Double check the grant, because if the city gets involved, it becomes a municipal event. And this was something I thought I had to against with the California Arts Council, is their grants are not eligible for municipal events. So you have to make sure to check on.
It would have to stay as like a private thing,
It would have to
right?
stay as a
Or
private
thing.
And it just ends up on the city calendar going, hey, by the way, here's this thing happening. But it's not sponsored.
Right, well, yeah, okay, but
So-
we're thinking about
It
that.
sounds like we're talking about two separate things at this point.
Well, I think we're
La
kind of
dirección de
talking about the
bomberos de
same,
Tijuana debería contar con al menos 800.
we were talking about the same thing, it's just like how to do it. So she was actually saying she's been applying for a grant,
Right.
and the grant could be used. And so I'm pointing out that
If the
Grants
grants
is
are
used, it can't be under the auspices of the city.
it depends on the grant. Some grants are okay to be used for municipal events, some are not. So it depends on the grant.
Yeah.
You don't wanna be under
$30,000.
So, did you have a comment?
Yeah, what are the chances of getting a funding for such a art fest from the city, out of curiosity?
That is a conversation I have not even started with, so I don't know.
This is literally the
I'm
first
just hearing these
conversation.
ideas.
This is also part of why it's important to keep this particular event small, because A, the budget, but also the fact that that library can't handle a big event.
Right.
So it's just specifically to hold a small event so that that region can get better representation.
Yeah, they have nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's at least give them some representation, because, we all know how Chula Vista is economically, divided. That is the roughest part of Chula Vista's economy, is that southwestern area. And so, East Lake, multi-million-dollar homes, lots of condos, things like that. People out there generally have, better finances. So, it actually makes a lot of sense having, and also the space in the library, it just makes sense having a huge event out there. Whereas on the southwest side, the city doesn't really have any place to do it, except the library. And,
Well, there is the Lauterbach Park, but that's not that big.
that's a Parks and Rec question.
That would have, we have to
But
go
since-
over onto the, I don't know, the court that they have, the basketball.
Is your office over there? Is your office at the south?
Downstairs.
His office is
Downstairs.
here, downstairs, I was at least.
So, it sounds to me like there are multiple ideas happening here. One is a small city-sponsored event
Yes.
with question mark over the funding. And then yours sounds more like a public-private partnership event. So the question becomes, if you already have a grant lined up for your event, can the city be involved? Possibly, possibly not.
Gonna depend on the grant.
It depends on the grant. So, has this already been something you've applied for?
I'm in the process.
Okay.
I don't know how long it's gonna take, it's very mysterious, the process.
Tell me
You
about it.
know,
Yeah, I wish Commissioner Ward was still here, because he wrote grants, that was his job.
So, So yeah, so I think that the first question that we need to ask is, what is the reality of having an additional festival, small-scale festival? What does small mean in reality? Like,
Small is gonna be based on the physical space that they have, because you're gonna have things
Right.
like
We need to
fire
get a
marshal.
layout of the property.
right, so question number one is, what is the space available? What is our intention, like in terms of size and how many people can attend? But in terms of like what is available in that, and then what kind of things are we looking to showcase, right? Are those the three major questions?
Yep, I would definitely try to angle however we showcase, with visual arts, food, dance, live performance. I would probably tailor it to that region that you're listing specifically.
But I almost feel like the parking lot idea, because you have all the businesses surrounding, that little restaurants, there's a Cuban restaurant. and
If
so-
it's a Chula Vista city-owned parking lot, it shouldn't be an issue.
No,
But if it's not
private
city-owned,
parking lot.
Yeah.
that's the problem.
The problem
It would be
is,
kind of benefit, how they have the Taste of Third, and all the
That's not a city,
That's-
that's,
yeah,
that's
that's-
actually run
that's
by.
the downtown
Third Ave-
blah, blah,
Used to be
blah.
called TAVA, but the Third Avenue Village Association.
right,
Whatever
Okay,
the business
so
group.
it would have to be the
Avenue
business
they
groups
want.
themselves who ran it.
right, so we're talking public versus private.
Yeah.
So I think that
But the private
the
businesses.
stuff that you're
have
talking
an
about is
event,
private?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we only have the space that we have as a city, so.
So at
you
the
know,
library, so we're talking about just
Library-
specifically an event at the Southern Library. So,
Or a local park.
or a local park, if that's up to the park and rec, so we'd have to reach out to them to see if one of
Yeah, and
But
I-
since the library is the umbrella under which this Cultural Arts Commission functions,
Yeah.
it's usually much easier
We
to.
don't need permission for that, we just
Right.
go, hey,
We don't have to do an
Got a library
interdepartmental kind of
Yeah.
complication here. If we're doing the library, we're like, hey, you're here already.
Plus also,
versus-
I'm a big fan of starting small with what
Sure.
assets and resources you
Sure.
can easily acquire, and then you prove that something works.
Right,
And then once you prove it works, then you can actually go to the city and say, give me more. And, hopefully when they realize there's benefit, always economic impact, is like number one thing.
Right.
But also, like, what's the impact as far as like, morale and stuff like that also is very important. So, but by starting small and then growing it, you have a much better chance of holding a larger event. But you've got to start small. It's actually what happened with Art Fest. Art Fest started very
How
small.
do you measure the economic impact? Like, when I had that little festival, the stores were so happy because they said it was their best day of 2 years of
Well, the
sales.
city actually runs surveys.
But if you're in the garden of the library, how do you measure
The vendors at the Art
is the
Fest.
vendors?
Well, no, the vendors at the Art Fest actually filled out surveys, so public.
Oh, okay.
So, and to see how much, how, was it worth your while? Did you feel like you got your money back? I don't remember if they asked exact amounts, like how much did you make? But, we filled out surveys and stuff to
And
actually
then
say, it was this, and those are all local artists, so.
Let's just say a vendor sells, I don't know, what would they sell, $10,000 worth of food or something?
I don't know anything about food vendors.
I don't know, how much tax income does it bring to the city?
so you're looking for specific like
Yeah.
city benefit?
Well, kinda, what's the
I
tax
will admit, I
benefit to the
really like
city?
that about anytime I do local events is, all my sales taxes go to the city as opposed to if I do San Diego Comic Con, it goes to San Diego.
Right, right. So, okay, so the three questions, right? Review the three is where, how big, and
What's
then
the focus?
what's the focus?
Yeah.
We do have a public speaker.
Oh, we do? Oh my goodness, okay,
I just wanted to make sure that you had talked.
okay.
This-
Public speaker, who is our?
Okay, we have one speaker, Robert.
Okay.
I'm back.
Hey,
Come on, staff. Come on, staff. Who knows about Crafter Noon, Mother's Day card, Tuesday, May 5th, 4 p.m., Chula Vista Public Library, South Branch. And, you know, I bring this up because, like you were just saying, it's the library, it's under the same department, and I think there's a lot more of these smaller events that aren't being recognized by the boards, right? That the city is doing these reach out. I don't know exactly how that one's, you know, formed, right? It may be a private artist that reached out to the city, maybe the city put out a request for service. But the reason why I bring that up is I think the idea is great, and I'd like to see like a big event, right? Like, and then see a cross between Parks and Rec, the police department, and the resources that go into servicing that neighborhood, right? And so when I hear about the cross-pollination of departments, that's what I want, is because we're all working together towards the same goal. And highlighting the fire department up on H Street is different than highlighting the fire department at their neighborhood. And so, in the same aspect of what I asked the council members is to hold community engagement events, I asked the city to do the same. I do think that with the Casa de Casillas, the artists from there to get to there could go through like a barrier, if you will, that they get put on show at the libraries, and we hold a competition that puts them into those positions at city locations. I'll use another example. The mall held like a window exhibit, right? And so like we could offer a small area in the library that could be a window exhibit to highlight local artists on a day-to-day basis, not like this one event, but every day. And so I think the event is a great idea, and I think it spreads into other ideas of how we could highlight locals for low cost and utilizing departments. We could even do a fire station art piece contest. I mean, the police department has one department, maybe two, depending, three if you count the new storage area, but anyways. So the fire department would be like the next place other than like a public library where they do the pancake breakfast, and then you could highlight an artist at that event. And so I really like the idea of reaching out to these other departments, and so just keep in mind that the city resources have a lot of departments, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, Robert.
Kind of in tune with what Robert was just saying, is possibly at Art Fest, but also at the small one, is actually having something, I don't think I remember seeing it, of course, unless it was at big events, is something that showcases the library's public events calendar. So it literally says, hey, check out these other events we have coming up, you know, the rest of this year. And I don't remember ever seeing something like that. But it might be a really cool opportunity to actually drive engagement to not just Art Fest type events, but to actually the library's monthly calendar just in general.
Driving people to the libraries.
Exactly.
Not to mention that particular firehouse is absolutely gorgeous. That should be a museum in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do a firehouse event. But
Yeah,
I'm always
that would be a
terrified.
great thing for the people to go through there and see art.
But I'm always terrified if a call comes in while you're doing it. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
the thing.
okay,
You have to have
tables.
trucks on the outside.
Yeah,
Okay,
obviously it's a
are
fire.
there is there more discussion about the potential South Chula Vista Library event?
What do we need to do to ensure follow-up on this with the city and
Make a
future
motion?
meetings?
Well,
So that's, I'm specifically, yeah, that's why I'm looking at the
so it needs
city
to,
staff to figure out.
so I believe that the questions have been referred to staff. If we want to make a motion so that it becomes something that appears.
I would like to
in
make a
the-
motion that it appears in the next meeting, so that we can follow up with the staff and it kind of puts a fire under their butts.
And have them present the
At the
answers to the
July meeting.
questions that were asked today.
And also, if I'm not able to attend any further meetings, somebody else has to do it.
You can come as a public person too.
I can, I can come and be obnoxious. It's awesome. No ramifications for me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so it has been moved. Is there a second?
I said,
Okay. So it's been moved by Commissioner Kosi and seconded by Commissioner Brady to follow up at the next possible meeting, which I believe is July, but you know, what happens, happens, about the potential, the questions asked for the South Chula Vista Library potential art event in April.
All right, should I take a vote?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, Commissioner Brady,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kuzi,
Aye.
Commissioner Maroka,
Aye.
Commissioner Ruffalo, Commissioner Salan,
Aye.
and Chair Bishop.
Aye,
Motion passes.
very cool. Okay, moving on to 5.3.
Really cool.
Yes.
The meeting code specifically mentions holding over a holdover office until the position's filled.
Hey.
There we go.
There's not really a term limit.
Okay, so I'll hang out until you kick me out.
Well, yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Good to know.
Good.
Congratulations.
As far as like how long you have to wait, I haven't found that yet.
That's fine.
It's gonna be 7, 8 years.
A decade until your next term.
I own my home, I'm not going anywhere.
No, right?
Although I will admit, it's not a value a lot. My wife's like, sell it, we should buy property in Pine Valley and build a hobbit hole.
Pine Valley.
Hey, I'm sorry about the interruptions.
Thank you. So that answers part of our question,
Or
right?
you have the next.
Stay tuned.
Thank you, sir.
Stay tuned.
Thank you, thank you. I love having representation from the city.
Let's ask the attorney.
Kate's like,
Right? It's like, I don't have to have all the answers. Magic. Right?
Did you see he had a copy of the code?
It's like, if only somebody could speak to that. Oh, hey. Okay,
Okay, next.
great. 5.3, discuss the 2026 Ottawa Youth Ambassador Exchange Program. Recommended action, discuss, provide feedback, and take action as appropriate. Commissioner Mora-Oka.
Okay, so over, well, the applications closed on the 19th, April 19th. So this past week, well, we had some trouble getting the applications over to.
That was a little tough.
A little tough to have a very secure, the city has a very secure system of getting out letters and whatever else. And so we finally got it out. We were able to finally get the dates all set up. And so this past Monday and Tuesday, we had interviews. We had 12 applicants that were applied on the 19th. One of them was ineligible because she had a national city address. And then we opened it up, and we had, I think it was nine interviews after all, because one of them dropped out because he got accepted to an East Coast school, and so he declined because he was going to be busy during the end of that August month. And another one, I don't know why he declined, he just disappeared. And then a third one, she never replied. She never signed up for the interviews. Actually, so we only had eight interviews.
Do we only have 8 yet? Oh, yeah, we
It was
did.
5 on Monday, 3 on
Right,
Tuesday.
right, right.
So
So-
there's gonna be 4 altogether, same as last year?
4, and then we usually choose 4 and then an alternate.
Yeah, so we have, I'll announce names, or
Are they notified at this
they
point?
haven't been notified.
So I would not announce the actual names until they're able to be notified,
Yeah.
but we can, that we chose.
Okay.
So how many girls and how many boys?
Wait. Commissioner,
Um,
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we were able to, after a lot of deliberation, we were able to get our four youth ambassadors, and I'll send out letters to them, or emails out to them later on, and also to the ones that didn't make it. And then moving forward, we'll have some Zoom meetings, trying to get an idea of what their personalities are like overall, to kind of get to try to be inclusive of what they may want to do here or in Ottawa. So last year, we knew that one of the Ottawa youth ambassadors was interested in sports, and it was she was learning some sports management kind of things. And so when she came over here, she got to, that was one of the reasons why they got to see the soccer team over at Southwestern College. There was interest in other areas, and so it would be good to find out what the interests of our commissioner, our youth ambassadors are, and then I'll transfer that over to Japan, and then they will see if they could fit that into their schedule as well. One of the things that was a combination last year was that archery. Archery in America is different than archery in Japan. They have these gigantic bows, and then in Japan. So I wanted them to kind of experience the differences, cultural differences in that sport, and so we were able to do that. So Commissioner Bishop was able to participate in that one. So I'm looking for suggestions for events that we could also have. I know we had Commissioner Brady arranged the folklorical last year. This year we have the Casa Casillas. Is that a possibility to have some kind of demonstration over there?
Yeah, it depends, and we'll talk about the timing of that, possibly August.
If the parking lot is done, it would be kind of cool to actually, if you could put in like a dance floor in the parking lot at Casa Casillas.
Inside.
Thing there. Well, I was thinking use the parking lot because it gives you more space than what's inside. Because inside,
Decently.
well, inside will
What kind of
mostly be
parking lot do
art
they have?
gallery, things like
What kind of
that.
parking lot do they have?
People, but you get a lot more people.
There's asphalt or concrete?
Just out.
Asphalt.
Yeah. But if you put
Sometimes
it,
they're willing to like perform, but in this case, you have to pay them to perform. What we did before was have them participate in a class. Right.
but I was just thinking the parking lot outside just because of space, but that's only if the parking lot is available. Because otherwise,
Not there yet.
yeah, okay.
But if any of the commissioners here have other talents that they would like to suggest or share, I'm open to that. I know we won't have a meeting next week or next month, but you could always drop me an email or drop.
What are the dates?
The dates are going to be from, I think it's from the 11th to the 23rd or 22nd of August, yes.
They go to Japan first.
They go to Japan first, so they'll be over there from July 31st.
Can they go to Tijuana?
They can't go to Tijuana.
No, can't leave the country. Can they go to San Diego?
They can go to San Diego.
Zoo!
Yeah, so we have the zoo, we have a lot of museums. We went to
do a
Midway.
baseball game?
They went to Midway, they went to the baseball game. They went to Southwestern College, the Olympic Training Center. They went to East Lake, they got a East Lake High School. We got to see the soccer players, the varsity, the soccer team over, the women's soccer team over at Southwestern College. They got to see the new
Went to
campus.
the Hobbit houses in LA.
What was that?
The Hobbit houses in LA.
I don't know, we didn't go all the way up there, really.
Or Black Speech. Either way.
And
Oh,
listen,
Black
I'm kidding.
I have a Vietnamese friend, whenever people would come over from Vietnam, she'd take them to Black Speech.
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, they were
We had a
the
tour
boat
of,
people,
Sure,
that was
sure.
like after the war.
okay, all right.
So we had a tour of the Gaylord Pacific. Also they did paddleboarding over off of J Street. We went to the Living Coast. So they got a good
Mission
flavor
Bay
of
is
it.
a good thing.
Well, I mean, we have.
Especially if the boat races are going on.
So, one of the concerns that I heard last time when I was talking was that they were programmed so tightly that they didn't get like rest breaks. So that's just something that I would like to put in the ear of the person that's doing scheduling, whoever that may be. But just that there might be a little bit of downtime kind of scheduled in.
What happened last year that it was very hot in Ottawa.
Right.
And so they were exhausted, and then coming from, they were just on hyper speed from when they landed over there, and then they had all these different events. The first event that they have is like the firework festival. They have a welcome party, and they do, so they're constantly meeting a bunch of people.
Right.
And then I think some of the youth ambassadors didn't have air conditioning, perhaps, or the air conditioning was limited, so they were a little bit uncomfortable early on.
It could be hot this year too.
Probably. I mean, I don't know how hot it will be in Ottawa, but
What about you're gonna have a potluck?
we'll have a potluck. We'll have a welcome potluck. That was one of the things we had. That day was just really busy. The first day that we had, just because Mayor McCann was going to be out of the country at one point, so he wanted to have it on the day after. That was the only day that he could offer a tour of City Hall. And so that was, and then that was, you know, the welcome party was gonna be that evening, so that was a long day. They went to City Hall, they went to the police station, they went to the fire station, and then they had the welcome party. So,
That's a lot.
and a lot of them were really running out of gas.
What year is this year celebrating?
This year is celebrating the 45th anniversary.
So would not be a bad idea to actually do almost like what Kaiser is doing with the NICU babies, get them a reunion and have everyone who's been a member, who's been a part of this exchange club to come together and meet each other and and have like this moment of shared
Maybe at the
camaraderie.
potluck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. I just don't have the numbers and the, all
Or the
that was on the
database. You don't, do you have information about over
Well, we don't keep those.
participants?
Well, no, the hard drive
Contact
failure.
information?
Hard drive failure.
Well, there was a flash drive that was passed on,
No kidding.
and
Sorry.
Irwin never got it. Yeah, I think even the previous person before Irwin became, before this became,
What
part
it
of
is.
the Cultural Arts Commission, didn't get it as well. So it was lost somewhere, and
Somewhere this hard drive has like black market copies.
I bet that Ottawa probably has a backup of that because they have the records on their site too.
I hope so.
So, and they're probably better at keeping those files.
I'll ask them again. They have all their files stored away, and so it's a big effort for them to pull out their information.
We could have a commemorative 45-year of
Yes,
this part.
and then, by the way, good segue though. The mayor of Ottawa will be coming to Chula Vista to celebrate the 45th anniversary on, I think it was October 16th. And so
Over the brush up on my jacket.
Don will keep it DJDATA, or is that what it's?
No, yeah, I forget his last name.
He does special projects for the mayor. He's running, kind of helping out with that. Usually we have a mayor exchange, but this year the mayor of Ottawa will be coming to Chula Vista, and it'll be a nice, hopefully we'll get everybody's support to try working toward that as well. They're only going to be in Chula Vista for 3 days, and so we'll be doing another tour of different areas. Probably one of them will be over at the Gaylord Pacific. That's a big change since the last time we had the last time we actually had an anniversary was 10 years ago, because in 2021, Japan was closed.
Yeah.
And so they weren't letting people in and out, so it was 2016?
So I was gonna recommend, just like I was recommending before about a calendar display of some sort of all the other events. Also having something that promotes the Sister City Local Exchange Program. So that, you know, basically so, you know, when we, Ken Moore will come to get more people to apply and, you know, see if there's more. But basically, it's like 12 people's, you know, cool, but it's all, you know, but it would be cooler if more people were interested and knew about it. Just trying to get more awareness for some of these programs.
Last year, did we have like 17 and we cut it down to 11 for interviews? So we had fewer.
We interviewed everybody last year.
Oh, did we? Oh.
Remember, it was like 4 days, I think.
Oh my gosh, it was so long.
So I did want to ask, is there not like a two-step process? Do they not write an essay and then we filter through the essay and then maybe from that essay then decide who's moving on? Because that is a lot.
We'll have the application process.
But what is, I mean, I
Would that
was
be
reading the
an essay?
application, but I didn't see an essay.
Well, there's just the applications, and that's how it was prior to it, before I was a bigger part of this. But they have, and then they have the letters of recommendation. So.
And then my other concern or question is it appropriate, I don't even know if appropriate is the right word, but to maybe have an exemption for current family members, like for family members, kind of like like when you apply to certain scholarships or from a company and it says family members that work in the company, you know, family members can't apply. For active or existing city council members, just because maybe, you know, it's not a good optic, maybe, I'm thinking.
Have you had a problem with family members applying?
We did have one of the council members' sons had applied for this program.
That's just a component of awareness, they know about it, right, so.
Yeah, well, I think it's also as long as it's, I don't know, I guess for like me, I've always just kind of been of the, if you're qualified, you can apply. Like I told my sister, is, you know, I'll hire you if you can do the job. I'm not a big fan of nepotism, so I guess as long as, as long as they meet the regular requirements, I mean, unless there's a legal issue.
Or unless it's like an overwhelming thing where you have 3 of the 4 people are children of
Yeah.
council
Right, and then-
members,
yeah.
but one, should we exclude one?
It's not that, it's not that we necessarily excluded the applicants.
I just don't like the
But-
council member can't come in and be like, hey, that was mine, hey, that was mine, so, yeah, we
Yeah,
can't do
but the
that.
applicant told us twice.
What? It was, yeah, it was
Somebody told
mentioned in the
something?
interview a couple of times that he was the child of a city
So for me, it's just an optic thing, like even for these other kids, if they find out, oh, I didn't get selected, but this council person's dad did, I mean,
Tell the city
Dude,
council that it
there-
is a
that's
market
favoritism, I'm not
against
gonna
them,
apply
and
now,
next year's
but
a
like-
Interest.
when are they, it's just a fine line, kind of, I feel,
Yeah.
so I was just.
It's definitely if they're trying to like leverage that.
Can I talk to you after about that?
Sure.
That was for this cycle, with the second one?
There was, the current batch of applicants did have a,
I'm going to talk to you about
Okay.
great.
it. Thanks for meeting.
I think it's really cool to make it in there that they're not allowed to tell the interviewers that they're related to somebody in the city government.
Well,
Instant disqualification.
so we're gonna do
We have that
that.
in North America. If you sign your artwork, your photography, your digital art, instant disqualification.
Oh, right.
When we're doing the review, it's supposed to be blind, we're not supposed to know who it is until it's on the wall and has a name tag next to it. So,
Okay.
until that point,
So,
anybody who identifies
We're gonna do a
themselves.
sidebar on this issue between Commissioner Muraoka.
And expanding the application is something, I assumed when, that the applications that we have used had been vetted through, and it was vetted a second time through the attorney, the city attorney. So that's, I don't know what all pertains to what the requirements are for an application or how the city looks at it, because this is a city event, so that's something that we can expand upon, but I haven't touched it just because it was already in place and it was already kind of.
Like for the future, if there's more applicants, like last year, then it would help to kind of dwindle down and we don't have to be 19. I thought last year was like 19.
I thought it was 17.
12 or 14.
Last year?
Okay.
Okay. I would love to, as long as we're talking about this particular thing, one of my questions is the affordability aspect. I feel like the fact that we only give $1,000 to each applicant and that the plane tickets cost about $2,400 this year. So to me, is there a way that we can put together some sort of additional scholarship funds if there's a need in the future? Because I would not, it's already difficult because the applicants theoretically need to have a host family that they could host the Japanese exchange students with their family, and they're already feeding another mouth and driving around the person. So is there room for us
Where does
to
$1,000
excuse me,
come
I'm
from?
sorry, in the middle of thank you. The money that is given to our applicants may not be enough. Like once upon a time, I'm betting $1,000 covered a plane ticket to Japan. But as costs rise, is there a possibility to get additional funds above the 5,000? Is 5,000 or 4,000? 4,000. Above the 4,000 to hopefully cover more of the plane ticket costs, because I would not want a family to be excluded simply because they don't have $1,500 laying around.
Also, it'd be interesting to find out again, corporate sponsorships, if an airline will sponsor it.
So that budget is not ours, it's the mayor's.
Right.
This is the mayor's program. Just to
Right.
clarify, that question goes to Dawn probably. Dawn will be the next person.
I'll talk to them. It comes out of the mayor's fund, to answer your question. In the past, years ago when the program was started, it was funded by the city council, and then there was a budget shortfall at one point for maybe a couple of years, and so that was one of the programs that were cut. But the mayor at the time wanted to preserve the program, and so it started coming out of the mayor's budget. I don't know if it was Mayor Salas or if it was Mayor Cox, but it was at one time that they wanted to make sure that they preserved the program.
So should we make a motion to ask the mayor to pay for the plane tickets for the kids?
So the current program has the $1,000.
Yes.
And I don't think, because all of the program that was approved for this year, the $1,000 is what we have. But the question is, in future years, are we able to potentially ask for more to cover rising costs in the program?
Just a quick note, they haven't approved the budget, it's going to be approved at the next city council month.
Right, but I'm saying like our involvement in this program, everything is already like, all of the paperwork has gone out.
But
telling
we
them
can't
how
ask
much.
the city council to give more money?
I can always ask Don, but I don't know, he's the person that's handling special programs for the mayor, so I could talk to him.
But wouldn't it
So
sound more
if-
official if it came from the commission?
Right, but my thing is, did the paperwork that the current applicants filled out say specifically it was $1,000?
Yeah,
So
so
if that is the case-
we bound to $1,000. We
Right.
can't change that right now, however.
Right.
So it's set.
So,
Right, so it would
You
be.
can't make it less, but you can make it more.
I have no clue,
It can go any direction, but it's not up to us to decide, or to this commission.
But we have a choice of making a request, right? We
Well, that's
can
what he's
motion to
gonna
make
do.
a request.
Well, we don't have to, he's gonna do it, he's working directly with the mayor's office.
So the,
Yeah.
so my concern question is, because we are basically the people that make the mayor's project happen as a subcommittee and as a commission, whatnot. But we don't actually guide the program itself, we make recommendations or whatnot. So it's not necessarily our jurisdiction to say, we demand more money.
That's not a demand, that's a recommendation.
Sure.
But also, my request is, if we're already, Ken's already working directly with the mayor's office on
Right.
this, do we need to make a motion?
Right, that's what I'm saying, because
We're backing him up.
if we make a motion and do that, that formalizes it and puts it in Erwin's hands rather than Ken's hands. So if it's more of an informal discussion, then it would go through Ken, who's already in contact with the mayor's office about future needs.
Is it recommended that we make a motion on this?
You can make a motion.
Okay, we'll make a motion that as officially represents,
To recommend.
to officially recommends to his contact with the mayor's office.
So no, if the motion would make it through staff. So you make a motion to recommend what?
That,
What is the motion?
Ken is allowed to represent our commission addressing to the mayor's office directly that potentially get a cost of living increase of some sort for this program.
And that
To
is.
request reimbursement for the cost of the
But
tickets.
it's his motion.
Well, it will cost of living, allowance, but it's usually the legal term for it, but yeah, reimbursement for,
So a COLA increase for the,
to cover the cost.
to cover the full cost of.
Rising cost of transportation. I don't think it'll go all the way up to the full
Right,
Under the
it's-
ticket, but yeah.
That's like a 150 increase, 150% increase. Okay, so yeah, we are running low on time here, so, okay, so your
So I'm
motion
gonna say
your motion is to request through Commissioner Muraoka from the mayor's office a COLA increase for the program,
For the transportation costs.
to cover transportation
Yes,
costs.
so I think the recommendations have to be towards city staff.
Right,
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There you go, so we recommend city staff.
If we make a motion, this is city
You
staff.
recommend, however it works.
Right. Okay, so the recommendation is to request a COLA increase for rising costs in transportation. It's moved by Commissioner Koski. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Sablon. All right, let's take the vote.
So I'm going to reword a little bit, recommend a staff request to explore the increase of the cost of the stipend. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Because
To cover the rising costs.
Because you're asking because the commission
Plane tickets have over more than
provides,
doubled,
right,
so.
okay,
Right.
so these are- all right.
So just
So moved by Commissioner Koski.
seconded by Commissioner Sablon. Okay, so now we need to vote.
Commissioner Brady,
Aye.
Vice Chair Koski,
Aye.
Commissioner Maroka,
Aye.
Commissioner Ruffalo,
Aye.
Commissioner Salon,
Aye.
Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Great, okay, so that goes through staff then. So, be cool in your, I was kidding. Okay, if that closes out 5.3, moving on to 6, staff comments.
Really quick, PBAG application period ended on Sunday. I am currently trying to put together all the forms for all the subcommittee for you to all review it. So look for that in the coming days. I am excited to announce that we are going to have one of our last year's PBAG winners. She's going to have her exhibit here. She's going to have her opening exhibit on Sunday, May 17th. Here at Civic Center Library. There's going to be a film screening and a panel discussion. It's called Dreams Beyond Tomorrow. So it's a photography exhibit, and it's about they're not breast cancer survivors. They are current exhibition honoring the wisdom, art, and stories of women living with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So there are going to be, I think, 8 images you'll see. She's installing it next week. And so the opening session is going to be that Sunday, May 17th. I'll send you all the information. I think there's an Eventbrite that you can register for. She just wants to see how people are, but I'll send that to you after this meeting. And we had a pretty successful Poets Underground TV Slam Fest last week in Memorial. It was a lot of fun. Mayor was there as well to kick it off. So yeah, hopefully we see more poetry events, such as our Art Fest. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of celebrate our PBAG winners.
How many applicants did you have?
For which one?
For PBAG.
For this year, we had about 31 total.
And they're going to be 5
Pretty good application.
competition.
And are they gonna be different areas? You're gonna make a choice between different areas?
We do it each time when we do it based on what we have in front of us.
Yes, yeah,
But you try to vary it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And in Casa Casillas, we are closing out our current artists in residence. We are about to launch our next artist in residence application next week. So you'll see that information from me as well. And then, yeah, anything else from Casa this one? Update on?
No, we've just been busy. We've had a lot of community partners reach out about either exhibiting or putting on workshops. So just been a lot of meeting and giving tours of the facility.
Excellent, okay, is there anything from the city attorney's office? Okay, all right, moving on to 7, chair's comments. I am pleased to announce that the proclamation has been gifted to our commission, honoring Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, proclamation for April. It was presented to myself and Commissioner Brady at the City Council, and I presented it to staff. we did a presentation in 2 parts.
Redemption?
No, not at all. Kind of the opposite.
I'll go into that.
Yeah, so, the presentation, ended up being, I presented the last year's presentation that we kind of worked on and created. Thank you to Erwin for creating the slide deck for us. We talked about all the great things that the Cultural Arts Commission, I talked about all the great things that the Cultural Arts Commission has accomplished. And we had like the pictures of the different things. I was unfortunately unable to work directly with Commissioner Brady on the presentation preparation, despite attempts. But what ended up happening is I presented my part and then gave the microphone over. The idea is that we were supposed to be presenting what we had discussed as a commission and speak on behalf of the commission. And I ended up quite frustrated because there was no working together, and in fact there was a Facebook post in a group about like come down and support me as I kind of tell the city council what's what about arts, and that was not the spirit of our presentation. The spirit of our presentation was receiving our proclamation on behalf
I would
of our
like to
commission.
see that Facebook post that you're referring to,
Oh.
but we can do that later.
Okay, anyway, oh, look at this, right it is. Dear Pro Performing Arts Committee members, really need your presence and support. Today, the Commission for Cultural Arts Commission will receive a proclamation early in the City Council meeting at 4th and F Streets. I was elected by the Commission to speak along with the Chair, Kate Bishop. Kate has been bullying and harassing me to not speak, even having the City Assistant Attorney send me a letter quoting codes and whatnot. I prepared a brief 2-minute speech about the importance of arts and culture and proposals for the future. I really need a cheering squad to counteract this harassment and get the message out about the need for performing arts, support, facilities, etc. We should be done by 5:30 or 5:45. Christine Brady. P.S. You can also speak and advocate for 3 minutes during public comments. You need to come early and sign up so that you are one of the first 8 to speak and don't have to wait until the end of the council meeting. That's actually the second one of these. There was a one earlier trying to get people to show up as well. That was the thing that alerted me that we were not going to have a symbiotic presentation. What was the city attorney reached out to Commissioner Brady saying, you are speaking on behalf of the commission, not on behalf of yourself or on behalf of any other group, and therefore, we need to make sure that we're on script, basically, and we're speaking on what the commission has discussed previously. And I was unable to discuss with Commissioner Brady what we would say as a team leading up. I said, hey, this is the thing we've already written from last year. This is kind of the outline. This is what we had talked about at the last year's.
I was never provided with any of that information, and she jumped to all kinds of wild conclusions.
Okay,
and she
excuse me, I'm still in the middle of the
I'd like
chair.
to address
I'm
because
still in the middle of the chair.
this is considering with this craziness.
Okay, so I made multiple attempts to coordinate our work together and was rebuffed and was just told, you're talking about this and I'm talking about this. You get 5 minutes, I get 5 minutes, that's it. And so over the course of the preparation, I reached out on multiple occasions, said this is what we are supposed to be talking about based on previous conversations from the commission. We are supposed to be accepting this honor on behalf of the commission for the arts in our community and not going off on the city council about what they're not doing. But the final the final piece ended up with 3 segments to her speech. One was talking about how Escondido gets $600,000 for their city arts, whatnot. The second one was the need for low-cost performance spaces and dance floors, which is something that we had discussed as being part of the conversation. And the third was a discussion on behalf of this pro-performing arts group, talking once again about the idea of having a performance venue in the port thing, which we have discussed multiple times in the commission as this is not our jurisdiction. So that was frustrating to me because it was being presented as though it was part of the commission, so we were being represented as though that was something we were asking for.
The west side of Chula Vista.
Okay, but be that as it may, this is the group that was being represented in that part of the speech, and the ask was for a performing arts center in the port.
The west side of Chula Vista.
It was presented as,
We can go over it.
sure, but the point is this specific request from the city attorney himself before the meeting asked that you don't represent another group, that you're representing
I
the
didn't
commission.
represent another group.
It was literally in the conversation, in the speech.
No, in what speech? In what you read on my private group?
No, in what you said
No, I
out
can give you a
loud.
copy anyway, 'cause once again, you're misrepresenting me.
That's, okay. Anyway, I was frustrated because I was unable to work with Commissioner Brady directly to prepare comments. It was basically just said, you get 5 minutes and I get 5 minutes, I'm gonna say what I wanna say. I'm a commissioner, I was elected to this position, I'm allowed to say whatever I wanna say.
I do not say I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. Okay, I'm going to give a copy of, this is the type of communication that I was receiving. I was being harassed, it was a complete, utter nightmare. I was being accused of all kinds of things, which I didn't think was correct. You can read some of these comments. I just made little excerpts.
So this is
This is the kind of communication that I was being sent. It's not acceptable for us to just do, I made a couple different proposals, she rejected every single one, and she said, I'm exceedingly concerned about your social media post announcing that you're going to dress down the council. I never said I was going to dress down the council, there was never any implication of that. You can step back and let me do this alone, but you are not presenting whatever you want. And it says, I'm merely enforcing the will of the commission that has already given input. I never received this input. I was here present at all these meetings, but I never received the so-called input that she was claiming. I made several requests to Irwin to send me information, to send me photos. I received 0. This is what really killed me. I'm not going to tolerate you deciding what you get to say, whatever you want for this presentation. I won't have a commission that I lead, that I have served on for 6 years, be banned from presenting in the future because we didn't approach this opportunity with grace, humility, and respect. She was not giving me grace, humility, and respect. I was being accused of going to do something that I had no intention of doing. My only intention was to explain the importance of art, of bringing humanity together, and then also talk about the needs that we need performing arts venues. As it turned out, before the meeting, there was another proclamation that was given in the hallway, or the entryway, to the Arab American community. It was an Arab American month. And it was very nice. There was a musician there playing. There were various people talking about having 700 of their relatives murdered in Palestine. I mean, there was some dramatic moment. But they talked about the needs. They had food. It was like a very, very lovely presentation. I would have liked to have done something creative, artistic, have some dancers go through. But I really didn't have that chance because every time I communicated with her, I got that it is not acceptable. I made it clear to you what the presentation is supposed to be. You're not invited to speak on whatever you like. You know, I'm an educated person. I understood that we were receiving a proclamation. I was being harassed continually and accused of things, and then being, she's going on to my private groups that I work with. I was trying to get people that are interested in the performing arts to come to see this proclamation of the Arts Month. And the end result was 2 hours before I was going to talk. At her insistence and instigation, I received a letter, which I include here, from the city attorney, assistant city attorney, telling me that it was brought to their attention that I wasn't going to speak properly and that I would be violating the codes of the city codes if I spoke. You can read about it. I thought this was an above and beyond intimidation. I also wondered about the sanity of someone. I won't allow a commission that I led, that I've served for 6 years, be banned from presenting in the future because of me. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? I mean, this was just craziness to me. And she's continuing to think along this line, and she convinced Erwin to go to the lawyer and have him send me this very intimidating, upsetting letter.
Okay, so this is the original
Okay, I'm
post.
speaking now.
Actually, it's not your turn. You've been interrupting the chair's comments at this point. I have not moved on to 8 commissioners' comments. Let me read the original thing that concerned me, in addition to the fact that you refused to work with me when I reached
I
out
was
to you
sending you
multiple times.
emails, and you keep telling me I won't allow you to speak.
Can I let her talk, please?
Yes.
It is her moment to talk. You have a section coming up where you are allowed to talk freely without interruption.
Okay.
Please show her the respect that she's supposed to get, because I'm getting a little pissed about this right now.
It says, "Hi everyone, this coming Tuesday, April 21st, as a Commissioner for the Arts and Culture, I'm supposed to talk briefly to Chula Vista City Council about the state of arts and culture in Chula Vista and receive a proclamation about the month of April being dedicated to arts and culture." She says, I am doing this, not like, okay. Yes, the city has made some progress with visual arts by creating the Casa Casillas and Eucalyptus Park as a gallery and space for visual artists at the Millennia Library that will possibly jumpstart movie making in East Chula Vista. However, I will have to mention that the performing arts of dance, music, theater, and storytelling continue to be unsupported by the city. I will make an appeal for low-cost performance and practice spaces on the west side of Chula Vista, as well as the need for a real performing arts center with interior theaters, hopefully as part of the development of the Bayside. I invite you to come at 5 p.m. on Tuesday to cheer the speech on and show support. The council chambers, blah, blah, blah. So that was the thing that I was sent, that I was concerned that in addition to not working with me on this in general, that it was going to be an opportunity to bring things that have been discussed here and basically said this is beyond our jurisdiction, that specifically the Bayside, but the way that this is worded implies that it was you speaking on behalf of the commission, not as a team, like not the commission speaking, and that you were going to bring up things that the commission specifically has discussed, it not being our jurisdiction. We've had multiple conversations of the fact that the Bayside is not our jurisdiction at this time. It is early in the process. It is not our jurisdiction. It is not our jurisdiction. It's not our jurisdiction. And that concerned me, in addition to the fact that I wasn't getting responses back from you. Now, at that time, I reached out to Erwin and said, hey, I'm having a hard time working with Commissioner Brady, and I can, like, the problem is this is all just kind of pulled out bits of what I said back and forth with you, and it doesn't have all of your responses as well. So here we go. We need to talk about our presentation. It's not acceptable for us to do 5 minutes each, because at the last meeting you said, I'm doing 5 minutes and you can do 5 minutes. You can talk about visual arts and I'll talk about performing arts, which in the first place is inappropriate because I'm a performing artist. Like, that's what I do. That's my part of this as well. So like, just to, first of all, to assign me visual arts isn't really appropriate in the first place. And I said, this is a presentation on behalf of the entire commission and not just a 5-minute opportunity to hold the microphone as a personal soapbox. The matter we are presenting was already decided upon last year, who we are as a commission, what we have accomplished, why arts are important to the city, what we would like to see in the future. I would like to coordinate with you to divide up the presentation. Please respond so we can figure out time to talk about it. And you said, you're welcome to speak on who's the commission and what has been accomplished. I would like to speak about what is important to the city and what we would like to see in the future. You do not need to continue to insult me. I was confused about how I was insulting you. I said, I didn't insult you. I made clear what this presentation is supposed to be. You're not invited to speak on whatever you would like. You do not get to dictate to me what this presentation is going to be. It was already decided by the full commission. This is a presentation on behalf of everyone. We need to work together. I'm exceedingly concerned about your social media post announcing that you are going to dress down the council. That's not what this is, so we can work together. The part where you say they have continued to not support the arts, that is me qualifying what that sounded like.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, Bishop. I think this is going beyond just the scope of commission comments, this comment section.
Okay.
This is.
I'm trying to get.
I understand, but it's turning into a personal matter, right? And it does involve the commission. So what I would ask is that we have a separate discussion about this, because again, this is leaning more toward professional.
That's
But
fair.
at the same time, there was an issue raised. Our office took a look, and based on those posts and what we know was discussed here, based on the minutes, this is Deputy City, we don't have an assistant city attorney, but Deputy City Attorney Gilmore's assessment and Marco Verdugo, the city attorney, actually agreed, right? And there were separate conversations there. So this all happened despite that, right? But again, like, I would like us to sort of just stay on course and figure out a solution as opposed to just airing out all of this.
Sure.
Like this is important information, sure, but we need to figure out like what the next steps is, so we don't just prolong this conversation, turning into an argument, and then.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's something, if that's, we'll discuss it, like how to kind of resolve this, because it needs to be resolved. So, yeah, as long as you two are on this commission, and we need to kind of, I'm not in this arena.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, thank you for bringing it up and bringing it to the attention of the rest of the commissioners, but yeah, it's getting to the point now where it's.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. So moving on. So that's how the presentation went. So we will move on to number 8, commissioners' comments. And how much time do we have left? Oh, it's time. Oh, we're out of time. Okay.
Well, I'd like to talk.
Okay.
You might as well, yeah.
I was gonna say at the beginning of the meeting that it's very confusing as to what has been talked about or not talked about, especially when we have people that come and people that don't come, and it's an exchange of people. And I noticed that Robert records the meetings, and then he has it, I'm guessing, okay, has it translated into text, and then he feeds it into an AI program, and then it comes out an article, which he publishes. And is that what you do?
Yes.
Okay. And it's a pretty straightforward process, and has much more information, and it's much easier to remember what we actually talked about. So then we can approve the minutes, because that's what we talked about. And so I would like to make a motion that we take this process in the future, where we take a recording, we ask the city, and we have it translated, just put it into the program to put it into text, and then have it go through an AI, and we have a resume-in, or what do you call that? A summary, excuse me, a summary that really gives us information, because it is very frustrating to think that you agreed to do something, that you talked about something, and then it just disappears. A lot of information has disappeared. Everything here that you have recommended, that has come from the bottom up, has somehow disappeared. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's like the public person coming, the poet who has to be recognized as the poet laureate, and then supposedly, my understanding was, Irwin was gonna look into that, and then we never heard anything else. Or my proposals, you know, to try to talk about performing arts venues. 3 months, I made big efforts to try to have a discussion about the Pangea project. I understood from previous council members, Rudy Ramirez, that every project that happens on the Bayside needs 18 entities to approve it, and that the Chula Vista has leverage, because they're gonna be the ones paying for the infrastructure. They can ask for things. You know, it's a negotiation between the city and the port, even though the port is the trustee. So, you know, that's why I wanted to talk about that. It still seems like the perfect place. I went and I talked to the city council yesterday, and I asked them to designate the Lauterbach Park building that is vacant at the moment and is presently being upgraded, to dedicate it to the arts. And Preciado actually continued up with me and said that that was a good idea, but I think they already have this building dedicated. At the same time, I was trying to make a pitch that we need performing arts venues on the west side of Chula Vista. And then I was listening that they were leasing to the district, the Sweetwater District, 40,000 square feet of the new Millennial Library for $10, and I didn't know it was $10 a month or $10 a year. And I'm like, here we are begging for, you know, facilities, and unfortunately that's on the east side, not on the west side, and they're just on a silver platter here. I said for $10 a month, I'd be happy to pay for a dance floor, mirrors, walls, a bathroom. So it's like there are facilities around, and actually Nzunza told me he wanted to talk to me about doing an arts facility inside a library. I don't know where that would go. So that's basically it. I'm still very concerned that the groups that are, oh, one last thing too. I found out from the people that are at the Chula Vista Center that they want to break out the last section of the east part of Chula Vista Center that houses a ballet folklorico group and a ballet dance group and a Pilates and basically services. They want to destroy that building to make Fifth Avenue connect through. And so I asked the council to not destroy the building and to not extend Fifth Avenue through so that these dance groups would not be negatively affected. Regarding the proclamation, I thought it was a calm proclamation. It wasn't the way I would have wanted it to be presented. I tried to get my friends who are interested in performing arts to get there, and nobody seemed to be bothered by the presentation. I think everybody understands that we need a place for performing arts. And it was a very traumatic experience with her. I consider her to be tyrannizing me, but we'll discuss that at a future date. And also having a letter telling me that I was going to be breaking the civil code if I talked at the meeting was above and beyond. I don't break laws. I never break the law. I never got a letter from a lawyer telling me I was going to break the law, especially if I was just asking for money for the performing arts.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Brady. Commissioner Ruffalo, you have comments? Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Saban?
I didn't like the display there. I just want to make that comment. I think there's and hopefully we can get this resolved because we're already dwindling board commission, and we need both of you to keep functioning all that. The only thing I wanted to share is that this month is AAPI month.
Yay.
And I wanted to make sure that you heard Chula Vista celebrates around 43,000 of the AAPI community in Chula Vista. And so I like
The what community?
The Asian Americans.
Oh, okay.
I always create spaces and places where if there's representation, you have some here. And I wanted to share molto di mago di sulla Bertino occasion, Mes Pacifico, which is our native tongue of saying it's a very wonderful celebration of the culture and richness of the API community in my native tongue, which is Chamorro. So I wanted to make sure that you heard the language, because the language equals culture, and I wanted to make sure that it was recorded.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. Language equals culture, I love it. Okay, Commissioner Morales.
All right. I'm disappointed that how the presentation ended up. We try to all support each other here, and I appreciate all the support that everybody's been given to the Ottawa. We've listened to, we try to work together, and that's how this is supposed to function. And I know there are other avenues to talk to the city council, and maybe that probably was not the right venue to do it, or the right time to do it. But we're all working with the city. I get frustrated with the city myself, with all the different things that, how it runs, how we're not able to even talk to each other as a group, except here. There's so many rules out there, and it does get very frustrating, and you're almost hitting your head against the wall sometimes because you're not heard. And I understand that you've been doing this, and I love your passion for dance, and when you got here from day one, you've always talked about getting dance floors for dancers. And I admire that passion that you have. But we do have rules here, and things. We'll try to support each other, but we also have to follow the rules that are given to us.
I really wasn't breaking any rules.
This is Commissioner Moroka's moment to speak.
But I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate your wanting to get your things done, but we are a commission, and we need to be represented as a commission, not individually. I mean, it'd be similar for me just to go up there and just talk 5 minutes about Ottawa, and that's not what the commission is. That's not representing what the commission is. But that's all I have to say.
So, yeah, I really want to second what Commissioner Moroka says, is that unfortunately what kind of just devolved when this started between the two of you was highly unprofessional. I was quite astonished when I basically handed an out of context hit list, which is absurdly inappropriate. Brown Act, I'm sure the city attorney will give us a briefing on that, because we are not allowed to speak as commissioners on behalf of the commission without the commission approving it. That is against the law. The Brown Act is a law that dictates how we're allowed to do what we do. We step out of that, we get slapped. So we are not afraid of it. It literally dictates how we do things. And so it must be followed. I would like to actually, I forgot your name in all the excitement, sir. What was your name?
My name is Alan Gore.
Alan Gore.
Alan
yes.
Gore.
So we opened up this evening with gentleman Alan Gore. Thank you very much for your presentation earlier. Basically pointing out that the city courthouse, he helped get artwork in there. And I love the idea of, I don't know what the specifics of how the city rotates the artwork in City Hall, but it would be interesting if we could extend that service to all city-owned buildings in the same way, or at least ones that have publicly trafficked, like the courthouse or City Hall, City Council chambers, anything like that where we can exhibit art. It would be fantastic to be able to try and extend that program. In particular, trying to help showcase local artists. And then also, I would like to mention something that I've mentioned in the past. I know I originally mentioned it with the Gaylord when we were talking about how they were sourcing their artwork. I don't know how it relates to city policy or anything like that, but I would like to again kind of I don't know if I should make a motion to do this, but basically recommend to the city council that if a project gets tagged tax incentives or city incentives of some sort, that there should be a requirement connected to it, or at least a very strongly worded recommendation, that their art is sourced from local artists, so that a chunk of that incentive that is being given to the business that is, basically being incentivized by the city to work here, actually comes directly back to the community in some way. And I think the easiest and best way to do that is literally by sourcing local art, whether it's illustration, photography, sculpture, whatever, is sourced locally. And then also I wanted to remind, I think we did in a previous meeting, do I need to make a motion on that, by the way?
For that revisit,
About,
no, because it is something that you had recommended years ago.
Yeah.
And then I did follow up with, at the time they were in transition and they said, yeah, let me ask.
I would like to circle back to that.
Okay.
Especially since evidently.
It's a good reminder to circle back, because they do have their director in place now, so it's time to ask them.
I have a comment about that.
Please.
That's okay. When we did the tours last year for the Otawata, they gave us a tour. I was able to talk to them, one of the marketing people. And not that they were going to change the art over there at that time, but I had suggested that maybe they sell Chula Vista art, because there was everything in San Diego over there. In there, and he was, he had followed up and asked about it. I had brought it up at one of the meetings that having artwork that they could sell over in the gift shop there, or even trinkets that are like little gift items or whatever art items they have, different price things over there, T-shirts and whatever else. But it would be, I think we didn't have an answer for that at this commission, but maybe if we could find some kind of way to funnel some artists in that direction, that would probably help at least a little bit in what's there already.
So not to stack on that, but New York City actually owns some of the buildings they own that are in food desert areas. They actually own grocery stores that they use to give people access to it. It might be interesting to see if there's any facilities like that in the city of Chula Vista, where essentially you can almost set up like a Chula Vista, like there used to be like the city of San Diego gift shop, where you could set up something like that, and then the stuff that's sold there, if it's generated or made by local artists and contributors, might actually be a good source of revenue for the city, but also be a source of revenue for those people. So as Chula Vista starts to have more of a tourist economy, if something like the Pangea gets approved, or with Gaylord and stuff here, it might be a cool way to actually just have some kind of additional revenue for the city as well as local creatives. And that brings me to Pangea, and this is just because this keeps coming up. The city attorney's office at one point did address Pangea in this meeting repeatedly, if I might add, and said that the city will not make requirements at this stage of the project. The project needs to be approved before they will even start discussions on us trying to get any kind of space or anything in there added to the city's wish list. So right now it's a blue sky thing. It has nothing to do with us, the city, or anybody, and we're basically just screaming into the wind for anything related to Pangea until it's actually an approved project. And so any further discussion of Pangea until it's an approved project is a waste of our time, as has been repeatedly told by our previous representative from the attorney's office. And yeah, and pretty much, going back to the Brown Act, presentation wasn't approved by the council. It's a violation of the Brown Act. It's illegal, is my understanding. So everything has to be approved by the subcommittee or the committee before it's presented. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. That brings us to number 9, adjournment. We are going to adjourn at 8:17 p.m. Our next regular meeting is going to be pushed to July 1st. Is that correct?
Well, technically it's still June
Oh, it's still June. We're just going to.
3rd, yeah.
So yeah, so the next scheduled meeting is June 3rd, but expect the next actual meeting to be July 1st. Thank you so much.
One last thing, Jeff Becker makes this magazine called Town Local Chula Vista, and he did a special section on the arts in Chula Vista. It also talks about Casa Casillas, and he asked me to give everyone a copy. So I'm giving everyone a copy.
Let's hope it's not too illegal, because I would have sent a bunch of people to jail.
What's that?
Let's hope it's not too illegal, because I would have sent a bunch of people to jail.
Well, it's just,
I understand
it's gotta be
context.
approved by the commission.
I understand the context, but when I bring up the Brown they laugh at me, and that's why I say, like, I wish they took it seriously. You know
Who
what I
is
mean?
they, Robert?
Other boards.
Okay, let's use names or like.
Well, I didn't want to say anyone, but I've had problems with this board, and we don't want to bring that up, right?
So it's not.
I would like to say one thing, I would really appreciate each and every one of you to do one thing. Think about the community, think about your family, think about who you are, and what you can do to be able to help other people. And that's the key element, and I appreciate you guys 100%. Thank you. God bless.
Open this up.
About ridicule.
I gave two to.
That's why I'm here, because, you know what's funny, sir? We can't escape the camera. That's the funniest part.
Right,
So they can say whatever they want, but I record everything they say.
I can hear you. Well, my brother,
Thank you so much.
my brother,
Appreciate that.
he lives up in Anchorage, Alaska. Anyway, to make a long story short, he takes pictures of people
Yeah.
the aura, everything. Man, it's fantastic. If we could get out. What's your name?
Robert.
Robert. What a pleasure.
Nice to meet you. By the way, if I'm ever quoting the city attorney in any way, you're like, wait a minute, feel free to.
Any things you're recording, I will honor for, so handyman.
I'll be right back. For stuff.
No, I
Yeah, you gotta pay your taxes before you can leave. I don't have any cards actually, and I apologize for that. That's my next thing I'm working on. Yeah, it's real easy.
Yeah.
And there's something I know the city college, or Southwestern College, and getting them some information. Okay.
So it's chulavistalivedata.com, and sometimes you have to put the www, so I'm just putting it for you.
Okay.
The letter was.
And then, yeah, I do like auditing of paperwork and stuff, and so when I make some of my comments, it's because I've had bad experience before. And so, you know, I'm trying to hold everyone accountable to the fact that 619-678-1442, and that's a public number that I tell you. And then my name's Robert, just so you can have a contact. But yeah, I went to Hilltop. So I'm a local to the neighborhood.
I know where exactly where you're going.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Have a good night, guys. Take care.
So you live here?
Yeah, I live in the.
All right, you guys, so that's the thing. Sometimes you gotta step in and ask the city attorney's office to do their job and quiet this stuff down. Because what you saw displayed tonight probably should have been held in a different way. And I'm not saying anyone should hold back from what they're saying or not say something, but I think that the presentation of difference of opinions maybe probably should be on this camera because we're doing it live. So you guys just, you know, it's recorded, it's everything like that. And of course, we want to give both of them their opportunity to speak, but I don't think it was during the meeting as that time. You know, the public's time is wasted when we bring personal matters into the meeting. Yes, it was relevant, and I can appreciate, but I saw it devolving at a certain point. And so, you know, like I said, feel reassured. If you have a question during a meeting and you see some stuff devolving, just go up to the clerk, the staff that's there, and maybe even the city attorney, and try to wait for them because they're listening. So, but you know, wait for them. Ask them if you think the city is going to stand by what's happening here, and then that should trigger them to, you know, make move onto the situation. But I'm sure I'll be writing an article about this one, so.